And a happy Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, which is presented by Mott's Clamato, a Caesar, available in both original and variety. 12-pack, a great pack size for entertaining your entertaining your friends or hanging out with your friends like we do here. That's going to be the way this show's going to go, I guess. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here before Tommy heads down to Oiler practice, as the Oilers have yet to get back on the ice for an actual game. That comes tomorrow. One more practice day. And then Doug McLean joins us once again. So thanks for stopping by, Doug.
Thanks, Matt. Good to be here.
Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Is this good that the Oilers are having all these practice days since they went through that coaching change? Chris Knobloch has time to, maybe work with this team on what, because they really haven't had many practice days. Is this break, you think, good for Chris Knobloch as a coach?
I guess yes is like, I think is like probably the right answer. But Matty, like this schedule has been very favorable in terms of rest, time between games. They haven't had a back-to-back yet. They won't have their first back-to-back till like right before Christmas in the New York area. So it's like
you're staying at one hotel.
You're going to Sherwood Park one night, and then the next night you're playing in Fort Sask. Like that's almost what it's like.
Before you continue with your answers, so they go to the 3 New Yorks. Do they stay at one hotel?
One hotel.
They will?
It's always centralized.
Okay.
We would stay, sometimes we would stay by Central Park, but then the last couple of years with Oilers TV, we would always be by the World Trade Center. And basically you hit the tunnel to New Jersey, or you could hit the bridge or tunnel to Brooklyn or Long Island now. So yeah, like you're centralized, and then sometimes it would actually take longer to get to MSG from there, even though it's, like 25 blocks.
New York traffic.
The traffic's insane. So yeah, like the answer to your question is I think yes, because you got 5 days to work on things, right? But at the same time, they've had a lot of days between games to get comfortable, quote unquote. It's been a weird schedule this year. It really has been.
Well, they don't have to leave the country. Like they came back from Washington on American Thanksgiving, and they don't have to leave the country till that New York trip.
Yeah.
They only had to go to Winnipeg, and that's it.
And that's
They're
like
home this entire time.
Yeah. That's
something
flight.
Else. Like that's if there's any nicks and bruises with this team, like
healed up.
You'll never get fully healed during a season.
Jack Michaels went to LA to watch 4 sporting events because he could. He had 5 days. Yeah, he took his son Tyler. Happy birthday, Tyler. Huge EST fan, obviously.
Is it his birthday today?
No, it was a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. Well, since we're doing birthdays quickly, happy birthday to Dave Jameson. It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Correct.
Happy birthday to Chelsea of the Hive. It was her birthday yesterday, official merch partner of EST. Today, happy birthday to Low Tide.
Happy birthday, Tide.
It's his birthday today.
I love Tide.
And it's also our former engineer, Trevor Stewart's birthday today. So
happy
he's
birthday,
definitely not listening, but I'll say happy birthday
Doug,
to Trevor.
happy birthday to you.
We're just throwing it's like Oprah. Yeah, we're just throwing away happy birthdays all over the place. But I love it. This stretch is, so we got Jack Michael's kid, we got JMO, we got Low Tide, we got Chelsea, we got Trev. So we're set.
So good to see Connor Halley last night too, by the way.
Yes, it was.
That was awesome.
It was nice to see him.
I missed
How have you been, Doug? It's does this wait for the Oilers annoy you, or able to catch up on other things?
Yeah, catch up on other things. No, I think it doesn't annoy me. I wouldn't say, but it is a weird schedule. I mean, I'm here. I've been driving in. I mean, the Senators have 7 games in hand on certain teams.
Do they
at this point?
Just double check because they've definitely built up a little war chest.
Yeah, like so the schedule's it is really strange. I mean, obviously this isn't this isn't the Oilers bye week. I mean, and yet they're essentially getting one. Yeah, it's a Yeah, and to the original question, I don't think it's a bad thing for them, and certainly for Knobloch, I'm sure he likes the fact that he can set. But again, 4-game winning streak.
Do you want to stop the momentum from that? Like that's the thing.
And Carolina is a team that can shut you down. I mean, they couldn't get it done last night. Yeah, tomorrow will be tough.
Speaking of Knobloch, his wife was probably sending him a bunch of clothes, or maybe even visiting. Like that's tough. That is tough. You just get helicoptered in. Yeah, they have 4 games in hand on a bunch of teams, and the Golden Knights are one of them. Seattle's another one of them. They have 3 games in hand on Vancouver. Oddly enough, LA's only played 21 games. Edmonton's played 22. So it's Doug, like you said, it's a weird schedule. A building availability. So we had Dave Pagnotta on Hello Hockey. We have him on every weekend, but I was like, Dave, what the hell? Because he's dialed in with the league and he works for them on NHL Network. And I was like, why is this schedule so stupid? Because it seems dumb. Not just like Oiler-wise, but across the league. Like Saturday matchups aren't particularly great. And he goes, A, building availability, B, a conscious effort to make rivalries a thing in the second half of the season.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And that's understandable. But the building availability thing, for whatever it's worth, the way it worked out this year, it just, first of all, the NHL does not get precedent over the NBA in any one of the, I think it's 8 arenas that they share.
Don't they get it in LA? Because they own it over the Kings.
No.
Or the Kings over the Lakers.
No.
They own it.
No.
The Lakers are tenants. So why wouldn't the Lakers? Why would the Lakers have it over the Kings?
When the Supersonics go back to Seattle, they will have precedent.
Yes.
Over there.
Like it's an
that just surprises me because
it's indicative of, and it surprised me too when I was told that
the Lakers are tenants of the Kings building,
but the Lakers are more important, and that's just the way it is. And I was surprised by it as well, and it is indicative. If people need or don't comprehend the landscape of NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL, like that's kind of one of those little litmus tests. It's like the NHL does not have that much clout. It is second fiddle to all 3 of those. And the building thing is a great example of that.
Here's where I just don't buy that from the NHL a little bit. Is there was that Wednesday before U.S. Thanksgiving or whatever that there was no games.
Tuesday
and
Tuesday?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, Thursday it's NFL day.
That's
you
Thanksgiving.
You leave that day alone.
Yeah.
The NFL has built that to be their day. You don't definitely do not challenge the NFL on Thanksgiving Thursday. Straight up. They haven't done that for years. You don't try to be that league to be like we're going to take on the NFL and the Shield. The Tuesday
games in.
I get that the American teams maybe are all busy. And I get that they want to have Canadian teams. The American teams request the Canadian teams to come to the South.
Yes.
For that. There's 7 Canadian teams, though. You could have had 2 Canadian teams stick around and play at home.
So
one of them play at home against that. Or you're close enough where you could have had Buffalo come to Toronto or something.
Fair.
Yeah.
And head down there. Because I think the 3 availabilities, one was Vancouver. You could have had somebody come to Vancouver and then them go to Seattle.
Yep.
Like it's right there,
Absolutely.
and that's where the NHL to me is. I don't buy into that one. You could have found a day that.
Yes, I think, and Dave also mentioned this. He's like the only team that had, or maybe it was Friedman, one or the other, both of them. Arizona had the building available on the Tuesday of American Thanksgiving, and the league went to them and they're like, "Wow, want a game?" And they're like, "Nope." We do not want a game. They just outright refused the game on that Tuesday. So there was 0 games scheduled.
Why?
They didn't want to play that day.
I don't know. Is that one that also maybe they just don't want to play in Arizona anymore? We're done.
Well, I mean, they're barely playing there. Like it's so they had the building available, Mullet Arena. All 4,500 fans could have been comfortably seated in there for a Tuesday matchup between the Arizona Coyotes and let's say the Carolina Hurricanes, whatever. I'm just making that up. But the Coyotes were like, no, we're good. We don't want to play. And that's what happened.
It's like Zach Wilson
dumb.
right now.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the story of Zach Wilson?
Please tell.
Well, he's supposed to be the starter for the Jets. They're thinking now. One report yesterday says he's reluctant to accept being the starter. But they're like, but then other people are saying sources close to Zach Wilson say if the team asks him, he will say yes.
Is he like a spoiled rich kid? Because I know he was a BYU guy and like.
Here's the
he
question.
Probably comes from a well-to-do family.
You guys are doing the morning show here.
Yeah.
I put you guys on the morning show here. You guys are doing it for a few weeks. I then comes like, nah, we're gonna get someone else. That Dusty and Eric, well, I won't use them, but whoever replaces you gets all of a sudden sick. They can't do it. I put you guys back in the morning show. Then I go, you want to know something? Nah, YouTube Trev's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then Trev can't do it anymore. Come back to you a third time, like, hey, I need you to do the morning show again.
I would love to say to you, I'm only gonna do it if you really ask me nicely. But we can't. So Zach Wilson is telling an NFL franchise that he will only be their starter, which he's not particularly great at, if they ask him.
If they ask him, he'll say yes.
Oh my
Not
God.
that he'll say no, but there are reports that he's reluctant to be the starter.
So you don't. I mean, if you're reluctant to, I mean, I've never been an NFL quarterback, but if you're reluctant to be, not yet.
I haven't, Madden. That was great.
I wasn't. I flagged football as a quarterback. I was okay there, but yeah, if you're reluctant to be the starter, why are you there? Like I'm sorry. I mean,
because you see the writing on the wall that you're ready to be gone out of that franchise.
Okay, sure, that might be the case, but can you at least then show up, play? I mean, I'm a Patriots guy. Heck, they'd take anybody maybe right now to be their starter.
You could start for the Jets this weekend if you want to.
Hey, maybe I'll call them if he's
maybe
reluctant.
they'll ask you nicely.
Yeah. I'll play for league minimum.
Sure.
Yes, I can have the ball off.
I'll take a game check to get my ass kicked for 3 hours. Sure.
I'll donate 3/4 back to the team if they want.
I will not.
I'll go cheap. I'll go even cheaper than you. I don't care. I don't know. I sort of understand the mentality of I've done this you've called me after benching me a few times, but also
that's your job.
Oh, yeah,
well, there's that.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to go to semantics here,
Zach Wilson, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an NFL quarterback. Well, he is one, and now they have to ask him if he'll start like that. I hope that this is lost in translation and it's a line of communication that was kind of befuddled. But if it were true, how telling is that of, I'm sorry, Jen, whatever you're called, Zed or whatever, Z.
Yeah, I think they'd be the Z.
Yeah. How telling is that of how coddled and soft they are? And this is coming from a coddled and soft millennial, which I'll call myself out for.
Millennials, we're not soft.
Oh, let's tell ourselves that. But anyway, I'm just saying like that we're to that point where you are an NFL starting quarterback and a story is coming out, which has happened as you've described, that you are reluctant to take that starting job as quarterback because you need to be asked by the franchise, however bad of a franchise it is, sorry, Clausen, like that is so soft. That's pathetic.
And
it's true.
Exactly. And if he wants to prolong his NFL career, if this is legit, if I'm a GM somewhere else, I know he has not been a great quarterback on the field, so there's problem number one. But even as a backup, am I going to bring him in? No chance.
But if I'm Zach Wilson, I tell you, I don't want to get hurt because that O-line is garbage and I could get hurt behind that
O-line. It is garbage.
Sure.
What did Josh say? They've used 9 guys on the O-line this year. Okay, it's garbage. We get that. But your job, what you're being paid handsomely to do is to be the quarterback. Kyler Murray barely has a O-line, and he runs around. And I don't even like using him as an example because he annoys the crap out of me.
Do you have a Kyler Murray jersey?
No. Oh, I would never buy a Kyler Murray.
I would get in the pack because he was good for a period.
He's a good football player. He's just a whiny crybaby who probably agrees with Zach Wilson.
He probably...
I'm just saying.
Tell us how you really feel, Tommy.
I just did. I will not buy a Kyler Murray jersey. Or you do
like the Bengals did last night, bring in extra protection. I mean, Aikman was talking about that. He said for Browning, they brought in a tight end, gave him a little bit more time. He could focus his eyes downfield, not worry about protection in front.
Yeah.
There's lots of things you can do to help guys out.
What was he, 32 for 35? Like, he had pretty good numbers, over 300 yards. Yeah.
TD, a TD. No win on the road against a good Jaguar team. So
yeah.
Well, that game cost Dusty a chance to make his comeback into our fantasy football. 16-team league. And he just missed out. And I needed him to win because the guy that almost missed out, if he beats this guy, I think he's out. The guy, basically 500. He has Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, can't remember who else he has, and then Justin Jefferson's coming back. So it's if he got knocked out, it would have been great for the teams in the playoffs, right. But Dusty couldn't get it done. Thanks, Dusty, for failing on that part. Do we get into the Patriots?
I honestly, I'm not even paying that much attention. I mean, I saw them when I was in Vegas. They were brutal. They have no quarterback.
Is this the end of Bill Belichick? Should it be the end of Bill Belichick, actually?
Are they trading him?
Trading Belichick?
We're talking with Rappaport about that when I was filling in for Dusty. And, basically he's
because he's got a new contract.
A trade, essentially.
Because of the Chargers, I think, was the one team that was rumored.
I think that'd be a great spot for both sides, as long as Bill Belichick doesn't come in with player personnel decisions. Because I think the issue of Bill Belichick the last few years is GM Bill has hurt head coach Bill.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't drafted well enough.
Yeah.
They've had money to spend in free agency. Hasn't worked in the end.
Yeah.
I think there's still a coach there. I just think he's had too much, and at some point he just hasn't been a good GM anymore.
Too much power for too long, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point. I think that raises the question quarterback, we know how important that is. I mean, again, I don't think Mac Jones is great. I don't think he's terrible either. But again, they haven't surrounded him with a lot either to provide support for a guy like, a young quarterback like that. But I think it is time for a change. I mean, they've had an unbelievable run over the course of 20 plus years. And sometimes it does just run its course. I mean, he's 70, what is he, 73, 74 years old? Like, he's not, he's nearing retirement. The player personnel, I agree with you, has been a challenge for them. And they just, again, it's not about replacing Brady. You're never doing that. But it's about building what they always did, which was they had reasonable, good talent, especially the skill positions. I mean, they ran through tons of running backs, but had enough guys that were competent and could help them out. And now, like, you look at the roster they put out, and again, I'll be honest, I haven't paid as much attention in the last few weeks since I saw them in Vegas, but there's not a lot of talent on the field.
He didn't miss much this weekend.
No, I know they lost again, and Zappy was
6-0.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's brutal.
But like, Chargers seems like a nice fit.
Yep.
There's some defensive players you could build around. Offensively, they've got players.
Oh, for sure.
That just hasn't worked. I don't know this year, but you still got Justin Herbert, who's a fine quarterback.
Oh,
You've got great receiving core led by Keenan Allen, but there's some other guys there, Williams, Josh Palmer, the Canadian stuff, like Austin Eckler. Like, you got the offensive pieces there.
Yeah.
Let's see I would like to see what Bill Belichick could do there. But does this hurt with the way the Patriots have gone since Brady? Does this hurt the legacy of Bill Belichick? Or is he still the greatest?
Oh, good point.
Personally, I don't think it hurts the legacy. I think there's no question that his success is going to be directly tied in a lot of ways to the success that Brady has had throughout his career. There's no doubt about that. But I do think, especially early on, I think you have to give enough credit to Belichick for building what they did build, especially in that. I mean, that they came out of nowhere a little bit in that first Super Bowl win over the Rams. But I don't. He's tied to Brady, but I think it'd be unfair to say the only reason they won is because of Brady. I think that would be false. But there will be people that say that.
Why? Because Brady won the ring after.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's always going to give Brady that little extra. But I do look at it and feel like, would have Brady won Super Bowls without Belichick his whole career? Probably.
Yeah.
Could have Belichick won Super Bowls without Brady? Probably. Yeah. Would have they won as many as they did and been to as many Super Bowls as they did? Not a chance.
No chance.
They're tied together, and the greatness we saw was basically because we did see the greatest coach in NFL history be paired up with the greatest quarterback in NFL history, and that's the magic that gets created.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But because Brady won that next title,
that's a good point. Yeah,
there's going to be people that go, yeah, well,
Belichick didn't get that. He didn't get 7 himself. Yeah,
exactly. And that's like, I've never felt Belichick needed to win another ring to prove his greatness post Brady, because if you actually go to the history of head coaching, Super Bowl winning head coaches who have 2 or more Super Bowl wins, there's very few that did it with different quarterbacks. I think, if I recall correctly, I think Bill Parcells did with the Giants, I think.
Well, it was Sims and Hostetler were the 2 different ones that won there.
Joe Gibbs, I think, did it with different quarterbacks.
He did it with 3, I think.
Was it 3?
It was Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, and Joe Theismann.
Damn.
And then there might have been one more. I'm trying to remember. I think somebody with the 49ers. I can't remember which one it was.
Well, Seifert would have won with.
I can't remember if it was him or if it was
Bill Walsh.
I can't remember which one it was, from the Montana to Young. I can't remember. I think that might be it, actually.
Yeah.
That no one has ever won multiple Super Bowls as a head coach with different quarterbacks. Yeah. It's hard to do. And that's what, to me, I always felt Belichick, you got to get to at least a conference championship.
Yeah. No,
and then you
fair.
could prove you've been there.
Yep.
But it's because Brady got that ring, people will point to. See, didn't need Belichick, and Belichick's never was anything. Because he also had the Browns, I guess, part of it too.
Yeah, you can't say he never was anything.
Yeah. And I think, again, whatever. I mean, you can't compare that job to a day-to-day job that most of us do. But I do wonder if a bit of fatigue sets in, and he's in his 70s, I get that. But even just, do you just need go to LA just for a bit of a
sunshine all the time?
Yeah, well, that too. But just to snap things into a bit of a different perspective for. I wonder if, we've seen that happen with coaches of the NHL and GMs. I think it does happen, but 20 plus years in one spot, and I think he still gets along fairly well with Kraft. But who knows? I'm not there, so.
I think Kraft loves will always have that love for him and Brady.
Yeah,
you know, like they'll always
how do you
be.
not?
Yeah, how do you not?
How do you not?
He brought up that franchise from
Yeah.
almost moving at one point when he bought the team to now one of the top franchises we look at
Trust
in
me,
NFL history.
I've been a Patriots fan since I was very little, and I'm Gen X, so I'm older than both you guys. And they were horrendous. They got 2 Super Bowl appearances, but they were brutal for 20 years. And
Doug, I have a question for you. As a Patriots fan, I saw Farhan tweeted out something over the week on Sunday. Someone tweeted from the press box a couple of images of like it was cold and the team's not doing well, obviously this year. There were not that many fans at Foxborough, and Farhan made a comment like, it's a spoiled fan base.
Well, because that city has won a lot.
They've won everything.
Like if you own the city in general, just 15 years.
Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, obviously Pats. So like, I don't know if it's indifference or if it's like an arrogance thing. And Farhan just made a comment, and he was going off of someone else's tweet that was in the press box that tweeted out the photos. Where do you stand on like where this fan base sits with this team? I mean, it's not a good team. There weren't that many people in Arizona, not this past week because they were on the road, but the week prior.
It's I think what you hit on is right. I think they've won a lot, and so when you see a drop off like this, I mean, it's not. They're not that much fun to watch. I mean, they're not competitive. Yeah. That's one thing, but they're not even entertaining to watch because they get nothing done on offense. Their defense is okay, but yeah, I do think it happens. I mean, there's no question. I think when you have that kind of success, and as you hinted at, it's not just the Patriots; it's all 4 of the all 4 teams in that market that have done extremely well in the last 20+ years. So yeah, I think it is a bit of fatigue for sure. And I mean, mind you, and you guys would know this better than me, but I think across the NFL, there's some interesting attendance figures that you're seeing where it's not as steady sellout most nights as it has been. And there could be a million reasons for that too. So,
well, Washington removed sections of seats at their FedEx Field.
Which is unheard of in the NFL. So
it looks like a junk building now. Yeah.
So I don't know, for the Patriots. I mean, I think there's no question that there's a bit of, geez, I've watched this team be really good. Now they're really bad. Am I going to make the drive out to Foxborough from wherever I am in Boston? Maybe not. Mm-hmm. I think that happens, no doubt.
There's the two sides to this that I don't think one side's right or one side's wrong. You had the Oilers with the decade of darkness, and this city was very quick to point out we supported our team through the bad stuff, right?
Which was
we were
great.
still there. We were there.
Yeah.
We showed up. That's the mentality.
Yes.
And then there's those that go, well, if you're not winning, I'm not giving you my money. Win. And I see both sides to it.
Seeing that with the football
team. Like it's one of those, it's great that you can support your team through bad times, but also at the same time, you want that team to turn it around. You tell the ownership, you tell that organization, fix this. And that's when I'll give you my money. The best way fans could speak is with their money. Mm-hmm. And no better way to do that than not showing up to games type thing. So, like, what would have happened if the Oilers stopped selling at Rexall Place through that decade of darkness? What would have happened if we were
in Salt Lake?
Well, in Edmonton now, there's a chance of that as well. But it would have also forced the organization to try to turn around even quicker.
Yes.
Right? Like, we got to get this going because the fans aren't showing up anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where I do understand in Foxborough, we could sit there and say, you're spoiled, you've seen a lot of titles, but also you could sit there and be like, yeah, well, that's the standard. Go get a better team. And when you get a better team, we'll show up again. Yeah. But till then, I'm going to sit at home and watch Red Zone because, especially as you point out, the product's not good right now. Like a 6-0 game. Like the only thing worse than being shut on the NFL is being shut on the CFL because you get the rouge in the CFL.
Well, that happened twice for a team that I follow. So.
That's the one. That's just awful in the CFL more than the NFL. Yes. But it's just
stupid rouge.
It's not even a team that you could go and like lose 28-24. Like if you're gonna lose, at least entertain.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the big part of all this. So I can't rip fans for not showing up.
Yeah, and I didn't want to rip them either.
No, but like where Farhan's like,
I'm like,
but I also understand where you could come, be like, but you should support your team in the dark times. Like I think people should go support the Edmonton Elks in these dark times. But I also understand why you wouldn't. And it's the only time I'll rip on a fan base for not really showing up is if you're great, the team's great, and you don't show up.
Well,
right? Like that's the team's winning. Like go support them type thing. There's no outside of that.
Yeah.
I see both sides.
Well, and you go. I mean, this is going way back, but. To the point of people getting a little bit bored. I mean, the 92 Stanley Cup playoffs, the Oilers obviously had won the cup in 90, got to the conference final in 91, 92. They're playing the Kings in the opening round. They weren't selling out playoff games. And I think even into the Smythe final against the Canucks that year, they weren't selling out playoff games.
Damn.
So they, I mean, and that's, there's no excuse in my mind for that either, but you've had 10 years of constant success. And I think in that case, it was a little bit of, we'll wait and see when you get, as you move along, and okay, you're in the conference final now, we'll start showing up.
Yeah.
So I think it happens to the best of markets. I mean, Boston's a really good sports market, so I'm not shocked by that. I mean, they've been annoyed with the Celtics before too, and the Bruins, and and certainly for the Red Sox may be the one because they lost for so many years that people just kind of accepted that as the norm. So they'd still show up even when they weren't winning World Series titles, but
now they're spoiled.
With
the Red Sox. They won 4 titles?
Well, that's right. And the Celtics have won, and the Patriots obviously, and the Bruins have been and continue to be really good.
I don't know if the Revolution have won.
I was just thinking
irrelevant
about them.
I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Because like Boston College hasn't done anything. Like collegiately, they don't have much going on in Boston. I don't know what else they would have there that would be
hockey, maybe
a
BU
top
and
sport.
BC,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Revolution because if they've won, then it's just
New England Revolution game.
Oh, nice.
Yes, against the Portland Timbers. 0-0 draw.
So also not
Draw your
overly thrilling.
Revolution.
There's nothing wrong
The
with
best
that.
part of the night was seeing the stadium in Portland and the
Oh,
craft
it's in
beer.
Portland. I heard a buddy of mine's a former MLS ref, and he said it's an unbelievable atmosphere.
So neat. They basically took the ballpark, which was I think it's like 100 years old, and they retrofitted it to make it a soccer stadium, and it's really neat. It is a cool stadium for sure.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere too. Like the supporters, I think we got there about 45 minutes before kickoff, and the drums were going. And then even at the end of the game, we left probably like 20 minutes after the final whistle, and the drums were going. They were doing the chants. Like it was a very good atmosphere. Unfortunately, no goals that match. 0-0 draw.
There's a beauty in that if you know what to look for.
No, Matthew.
There is.
It was a dry.
Maybe that match was. But I'm saying there can be a beauty in a 0-0 draw.
No, there were a few opportunities for goals, but it was a boring ass MLS game.
Yeah,
so that's my New England Revolution story.
They've never won. They've been runner-ups many times in the past. I think only once in the last few years. They had a good team a couple of years ago with Canadian Tejan Buchanan on it, and they failed in the playoffs. They got knocked out early. But they've never actually won. So, Boston, what a town! Can't win MLS.
Better.
What a city! What a garbage city!
That's a great city.
It is a great city.
This is the EST Angle presented by Mott's Clamato, Caesar, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk, Doug McLean with you here. Your thoughts always welcome. Parish Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat on YouTube. Some people pointing out that pricing obviously is a big thing, and things are getting more expensive just in general. So I
won't even tell you how much I paid to go to the Vegas.
Are those tickets ridiculous? Because
it was more.
Was it because it was the Pats? Because I know that there's a lot of visiting fans go to Vegas to see their team.
I was shocked at how many Patriots fans, and I shouldn't have been. Once I kind of thought through it, I'm like, okay, this makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But I bet you 30% of the stadium was Pats fans.
Because I know Vegas likes having an NFL team. They're reluctant with the A's coming there. They love the Golden Knights. Yeah. But it is one of those cities where you could be like, well, it's a hub basically, and you can easily get there, and it's fun, whatever. You can do your own thing. So, but I wonder though, are those tickets sold out? The Raiders aren't particularly great. I'm sure you could get in for relatively cheap, but if you're going to this Pats, you went to this Pats game. I remember you talking about it. Was it that pricey?
Oh, it was, easily the most expensive sporting event I've ever paid for in my life.
Damn.
More than my Elks season tickets. It was, and again, it was just
lower
a
bowl
one of,
or upper bowl?
We were in the lower bowl in the end zone. So they were, the seats were fine. It's not if you're a football guy, it's not the best angle because you can't really, you can't see that far downfield, but.
How low were you? Because I love the end zone look.
It's fairly flat. It's fairly, we were, I'm trying to think now, we were probably 10 rows down from the concourse, something like that. So it wasn't bad, but you can't. I sit the 20-yard line at Commonwealth, so I'm used to that a little bit more. But no, the stadium's nice. The sightlines are pretty good for the most part. But yeah, it's.
Oh no, I like
crazy.
the end zone look.
Do you really?
Tube Socks has. It's funny. Tube Socks has season seats. He never sits in them. He stands at the north north side by the CW.
It's been a thing for decades.
But and that was, I stood for a part of a game with him this year there, and I loved it. And I used to love when I was younger.
Higher up or lower down? Because if you're higher up, it's okay. You can see everything. I like that. If you're too low, it's tough.
Maybe I don't know. Like it doesn't get that low on that north side. And it does dip
on
down,
the north side,
but then south side is really high up.
Yeah.
And before they put those club seats in, I remember being younger and standing there and watching some plays, and I loved the look.
Those club seats are popular.
Yeah, I actually do like that angle for some reason.
But you're up, so I could see.
Maybe that's the difference.
Hernan, thank you, Hernan. Hooked up. They did like these field level loge seats in that north end zone, and so we got to go and sit there. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like it was a great experience. Like you're right there. The food, beverage option was phenomenal. But it was hard to keep tabs on the game because you're on the field and you're looking at it from a very odd perspective. And then on top of that, at Commonwealth, you have to turn around to look at the
you didn't have a scoreboard on the other side.
Exactly. So it was kind of odd that way. Great concept. I think they still have it.
Yep.
Great way to watch the game. But if you're tracking the game, Doug, and I think that's what you're talking about, it can be tricky.
It's tougher.
Yeah.
Definitely tougher.
So Captain Crunch said, yes, problem today is the price. It's extremely expensive to go to a game, NFL, NHL, basketball. So if your team sucks, why would you make the investment? And
That's fair.
it's been the Oilers haven't sold out every game this year.
No, that's
they've
true.
stopped selling out the last few games. I haven't looked in the most recent ones.
You can see little strips of sections when we were sitting together.
And like I expect that to change come March when you're close to the playoffs. But right now it's just like, well, yeah, I don't need, especially on the team also had a poor start where it's just like, well, I'll hold on to my money and save it for later this year. Did you have a text you wanted to read?
It was football related, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it?
Go for
Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999, or as my good friend Lieutenant Eric says, 9999. This text says, I actually think Zach Wilson is unfairly taking heat this year. The Jets' O-line is subpar, and his OC is Aaron Rodgers' puppet, which doesn't make him a good coordinator. Zach Wilson actually has a number of games with 250-plus passing yards. Get him in a better system, and I think the guy could play. I fully respect and understand that argument, but his job is to be the starter for the New York Jets right now. And the fact that they're talking about if it's true or not, but the fact that it is a discussion that they have to ask him if he would start for the New York Jets is ridiculous. Bad O-line, Aaron Rodgers puppet, regardless. Like, that's hilarious, by the way. I love that. Good text.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of do see Zach Wilson's point in a sense.
No, how do you say to an NFL team, I'm only going to do it
how many times
if
are you going to keep
ask nicely?
Well, how many times are you going to keep asking me to, like, how many times are you going to throw me out and then come like, Zach, we need you again, boy. Like, come on back.
That's his job.
And it's just like, well,
that's his job.
But then, like that's the part that's like, prove yourself then.
Yeah.
Prove yourself either to the Jets or to somebody else.
But he'll now look and be like, that. No one could prove themselves behind that O-line.
Well, no.
I'm not going to do it. No one could prove themselves
enough,
with the New York Jets. Get me somewhere else. Get me to. He also, I think, needs a market that has a little less pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. I'll say that. I don't know.
Where's that in the NFL?
Jacksonville. I don't know.
New York's a different level.
New York's a different
level.
No, that's fair. I agree.
Like, you don't go to Boston for New England type thing. You go, maybe Arizona.
Yeah.
Maybe Arizona.
Yeah, that's where you just go to coast.
You
Vegas.
could go coast.
Yeah.
Could be Vegas.
Who else could you potentially do that with?
If Zach Wilson's like that, as an Arizona Cardinals fan, I do not want Zach Wilson. I will happily take Kyler Murray, who I'm begrudgingly accepting as the quarterback.
But at this point, he's saying he wants to be your quarterback. So if they come to him and say, will you be quarterback? He's saying yes.
It's so ridiculous if it's true. And the fact that we are discussing it is kind of like an indictment on how messed up it is.
Big Uke says he was at the KC Raiders game 2 Sundays ago. By the way, Big Uke's going to Vegas like 3 times in 5 weeks or something.
Big
he was
Uke,
telling me.
Man, hitting those bonuses. I love
2
it.
Sundays ago was probably close to 50-50 Chargers Raider fans.
Nice.
But like that's the thing. Like even in hockey, you're going to see that. It's everyone loves. It's what is America's playground, adults playground or whatever it's called.
Vegas?
Yeah, like whatever the nickname is or something. So, of course, if you're any of the other teams, it's like, hey, I want to go see my team on the road of any of the sports that are going there. Why wouldn't you go to Vegas where I'll go watch my team play.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things for me to go have fun with.
Good point.
So
yeah, no, I think that's true. And I think the fact that not that Vegas hasn't adopted the Raiders, but I'll be honest. I mean, the game wasn't great, but it was pretty muted in there.
Yeah.
Like I've been to a handful of NFL games now, and it was, of all the ones I've been to, other than the Jets preseason game where there was nobody there, but it was pretty muted, and that was surprising. And it's a little bit, again, I just don't think
it's not an organic team. It's not Vegas.
No,
is still
that's
in the
right.
end,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
That's their team.
This is true.
For sure.
Don't knock the Aces. They love the Aces there too.
Yep.
That is a big thing for us, for Vegas.
2-time champs.
Yes. How is that stadium? Allegiant Stadium. It looks amazing. How would you describe it?
It's funny you asked that because I was thinking about it after. Like,
I'm a stadium geek.
yeah,
so.
I am too. And it's nice. Like, it is nice, but they've become so generic now.
Yes.
Right. And so it's not that it's not nice. It is. I mean, the concourses are really spacious. It's glass on the outside. So if you're in the concourse, you get the light coming in. The stadium, like this, the view, the seating is really nice. And the torch is really neat. Like, it is a really, really nice stadium.
Yeah.
But I think they've become somewhat generic. And so it feels like
We're trying to make it everyone's living room as opposed to...
So it's not that it's bad. It's just that I don't know if there's anything that is like, oh, this wasn't. And we walked around a little bit before and after the tailgate thing outside. Not the tailgate. They have a kind of pregame fan fest thing, which was kind of fun walking around there. And so it is really nice. But was I blown away by it? Probably not. And that's not because it's just more. I think everything's just a little bit generic nowadays.
How is the Sphere?
Now Sphere is it's unbelievable. I cannot honestly describe how incredible it is.
That's neat.
It's probably one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. And even to watch videos of it doesn't come anywhere close to doing. Oh, doesn't even come close. It's like you walk in and you're just basically completely surrounded all the way.
Oh, did you go in?
Oh, we saw you too.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you actually went to go see the show. I thought it was just you saw it from outside. No, you went inside.
Really neat too. Oh yeah, we saw you too in there.
We need to know more, Doug. Continue, because this is where the NHL draft is going.
Yeah, so it's phenomenal. Like you walk in, the whole inside is all screen, so all the way up and over your head. There's one song they're playing where the backdrop is sort of the desert, and
I saw a video of that, and it looked awesome.
And I'm sitting there while we were kind of off to the left side a little bit, and I look over the right. You can see where the seats sort of end, and I'm like, oh, I'm curious. I'd like to go look over the side of that and see. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm inside. There's nothing over the side of it. It's like, guys, I cannot honestly explain how it will revolutionize concerts, because I don't know how you can compete with that now. It's unbelievable.
What level were you?
We were the 200 level.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to be on the floor. I think that'd be really tough because you'd be spending your whole day.
That's what we heard.
It would be really awkward. But where we were was perfect, because you're not. Although it'd be fun to see it from up above too, because they do a lot of stuff they had where they were sort of cascading stuff down. Would have been kind of neat to see from up there. But honestly, it's hard to describe how incredible.
By all accounts, the sound engineering too, it's like designed so like anywhere you sit, you're getting perfect sound shot at you almost.
I think, and I don't know enough about it, but I think you're right, because I think behind each of the panels, I guess, for the screen are speakers. So you're right, they're all coming at you from different points. I mean, and from what I understand, they've just kind of scratched the surface as to what they can do with this thing. So it was, and U2 I think was probably and I'm a U2 fan. I'm not a massive U2 fan, but I like them a lot. Kind of the perfect band for this, because they got enough of those sort of anthem type songs that can kind of fit with what you can do with the backdrop. Guy, it was just unbelievable. I mean, amazing.
The NHL is very smart to whatever the cost is, you get that done and be the first professional league to do something in the Sphere.
Well,
because the NFL will go one day, we know they'll do something amazing there. Yeah. Like other leagues will do it. You got to do it first, because then otherwise you're following everyone's lead and no one will care. And
F1 sort of, what I could say, they could sort of use the outside of it, so that was neat. But yeah, I think to be inside and use that for the draft would be...
Where you can have the pick and whatever you want to do on the inside, and probably show it on the outside too, or whatever, like however you want to do it. Get that deal done if you're the NHL, if you want to really stand out.
No, I agree, for sure.
The Sphere and Allegiant Stadium, I think, had roughly the same price tag in the end.
Okay, yeah,
it was
like $2 billion, something like that, yeah.
the NHL is planning. I remember when the Heritage Classic was here, hanging out with the league communication guys, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to Sphere. It's going to be expensive." Also, the NHL, they're having the Board of Governors meetings in Seattle right now, talking to people who work for the league. They're like, "Yeah, we're doing really good right now," so they have money to burn. They're like, "We had a money report, and things are really good in the NHL." So they're gonna do it.
And they're going to expand over the next few years.
Yes,
they're
they
going
will.
to dilute their product, but they're going to bring in a bunch of expansion money.
Amen, brother.
It's going to be...
It's happening.
It's something
and
to
no,
watch.
Quebec City's not getting a team.
And the cap, 87.7 or something that they've discussed. So 3.25 of that's going to Connor Brown next year.
What do you call it?
It's the penalty. It's the penalty.
Yeah.
Like every other team is ready. Like, hey, we're getting cap, and the Oilers, it's going to Connor Brown.
All right. He might score tomorrow.
Let's get to movers and shakers, which is brought to you by Marco and Mike, Realty One Group Insider. Let Marco and Mike earn your trust, whether you're buying or selling a home. These are the guys you're going to want to talk with. It'll just be a nice laid-back experience that you'll have with Marco and Mike. MarcoandMike.com for more information. And Doug, you and I texted a little bit about this a bit ago. It's been a discussion we've had throughout various hangouts here. And Rick Lawlisher talking when he said that this team is going to look at the ownership status and structure of the Elks, said this team needs a new facility, a new stadium. When we were texting, and I think I read one of them on the show, you're kind of turning into maybe he's right.
Yeah, and when you were texting, I didn't disagree with the thing you said because I'm with you. Like if the day ever comes where Commonwealth isn't the stadium that the Elks play in, it'll be tough for me for sure. But I've just come to realize, I think, a little bit in terms of if we were starting from scratch, which we're not, but if we were, what does the city need now? Well, we don't need a track because we're never bringing back an event that's going to have a track anymore. That's not necessary.
I'm still holding up for the Summer Olympics.
Well, hey, we can dream.
We're going to spend billions on that
even when we were bidding on Commonwealth, track was going to be at Footfield anyway. So
was it?
Yeah, it wasn't going to be at Commonwealth regardless. Biggest problem is that they can't put a track in and move and take it and put it somewhere. If they could do that, you might do it. But anyway, that's a side thing. So you don't need a track. There are very few events that you need 60,000 seats for anymore. The World Cup's not coming. We know that. Grey Cup you can do fine with a 40,000 seater. Yeah, I know, I'm with you. But you can do well with a 40,000 seater. And even a lot of the concerts, yes, there would be concerts that would probably look for more. There aren't a ton of them. And I told you that I'd run the numbers for some stuff I was doing a bunch of years ago, and I forgot now how much it averaged over the last 12 to 15 years around. It was a little bit less than one or a little less than one concert a year. And there was one year where I think there were 3 or 4 that kind of bumped the average up. So there aren't a lot of those that are coming anyway. And the ones that are, would they work in a 40,000 seater? Probably for a city of this size. So
can you get 5,000 people on the field level too? So 45,000.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, that's what it like Commonwealth, but you also take away part of the seats, right?
I always lose some.
You lose some. So it usually works out to be about the same number. I think Commonwealth, when it comes to a concert, it's about 55,000. You're looking at.
Oh, so all the seats that are in the corners with the stage side,
those are gone. Okay. But by the time you fill out the floor, you're at about the same. I think.
Yes, depending on the show, sometimes they'll play in the round, so you can use all. Anyway, it depends on the show, but it's just gotten me thinking that there is probably more value in a lot of ways with a smaller stadium. And for me, if we weren't having to pump a bunch of money into Commonwealth, I think this is a moot point. But I think the fact that, again, even when Edmonton was on the recent Commonwealth Games with Calgary, the plan was Edmonton wanted a bunch of money to pour into Commonwealth. That was $250 million.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I'm like, and again, I don't know what a brand new 40,000 seater would cost, but
half a bill.
Sure, let's say that. Yeah, so let's use that as a number. So would I rather have the 250 mil going into that or going into Commonwealth, where you're probably going to still in 10 years have to do other stuff?
Yeah,
because this is not a full redo of Commonwealth Stadium. It's bits and pieces that are going to be redone. Concourse stuff a little bit. Some of the meeting areas, I think, was part of it as well. Dressing room stuff. The Elks dressing room is fine, but the other ones. So
yeah, the other ones.
So I don't know. To me, that's where it starts to make sense to me that you look at a new one.
Yeah.
IG was 210 million in 2010.
Yeah,
so we're talking about 15 years ago, basically. So that's probably
even double with inflation and costs.
They're probably looking close. Yeah,
and not gonna lie to you, you can tell where they cut corners at IG Field, or pardon me, value engineered areas of IG Field.
They actually at one point. No one's going to care about the media in this. They had the press box outside for
the NHL and when they had the Heritage Classic said that has to be closed in, and they put glass in.
Well, they also had a spot where they actually, right when it opened, they had to fix it quickly because the football reporters and stuff like, we can't cover a Bombers October game in the cold with our computer. Like, it's just we can't do our jobs at that point straight up, and you need us to do our jobs. And that they cut a few.
Like, I enjoyed thoroughly the 2016 Heritage Classic there. I think Winnipeg did a phenomenal job. I was excited to see IG Field, and when I did, I was like, okay, this is pretty nice, but you can tell where they value engineered.
Well, what's Mosaic? What was Mosaic done for?
Mosaic's really nice.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've called a couple games there, so I haven't seen it full for a Rider game, but it's really nice. Nice hosting areas. The press box is massive. Tons of space there for everyone. So it's a nice, I mean, there's some models for sure.
2014, 278 million.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
they had to rip out, I remember IG Field too, they had to rip out the main concourse, the floor or asphalt, whatever they use, concrete, because they rushed it and they didn't cure it properly or something like that. And literally, like, they would, you know how they drive trucks in and they bring stuff. It was creating grooves in the concrete. So they had to redo that as well.
The thing I would say with a new stadium for Edmonton, like straight up, if that's the route we go as a city, it has to be domed, which is going to raise the cost for it. Like if I'm a taxpayer, you know, if we're going to say we're spending money on this and because I don't know how a private person's doing this. I don't see how we're going to spend that. Yeah. There's going to be some sort of tax dollars placed into this, or would have to be, which is why I also don't think this is going to happen necessarily.
Calgary Flames got a sweetheart deal. That's for damn sure.
Well, and I don't want that arena deal. Like, I know some people have their issues with the Edmonton model. The Calgary model is
a joke.
And it's so much worse than the one that they turned down. Like, it is awful in terms of a deal for the taxpayers there. But here, it's just like... 6.6% or whatever property tax going up. It's going to be a hard sell for the next few years to fund this. But if we're going to do it that way, I want a facility that we could use 12 months of.
Yeah.
You know, like I want a facility that we can use for something in February. Even if it is those concerts, because part of the Wonder concerts, you know, we have maybe one a year. I wonder how much is that, because we only could do them basically May through August.
Yep,
we had AC/DC in September in the 2010s, not the 09 concert, the next one. It rained and it was cold that night. And it's just like, okay, we get a limited time where you can maybe do those concerts. Yeah. If you're going to have that stadium show, maybe we could do it in February if there's that show coming around. And that's the only, but that raises the cost. Yeah. But now we could do more. Now we can, you know.
It's a truly 12-month.
Could Monster Jam come in January with that? You know, could, you know, you could have, I know we have the conference center, but could you do a conference there on the floor with a bunch of there's all sorts of different things you can then start doing.
It's like BC
12 months of the year where now we're getting some more value, as opposed to Elks play 9, 8, 10 games a year, maybe 11 plus
not lately,
not lately, 11
not lately.
Maybe, and then you get maybe 1 or 2 concerts a year, and then that's it. Like if we can now fill out 30 days a year, cool.
Yeah,
maybe there's something to that. Yeah. So, but I would also want it retractable, because
like BC Place, where we've got that sort of partial retraction.
It's interesting because, actually, retractable roof in Arizona and Dallas, but in Vegas, they open that the end zone, like big doors basically. Now, I like the idea because we've had this conversation. It's coming up more and more. I know people within the Elks organization have been like, we love the stadium, but it's tough. You know, it's too big, this, that. I like the idea because you have the field house, you have the locker rooms, you have the community rec center, all that. I like the idea if Commonwealth does meet its demise and comes to its end of its life cycle, using that site and rebuilding a new stadium on that site.
Is it big enough?
It's huge. The site is monstrous.
Yeah.
But like, would it be for a new age? Like, I don't know.
I think
like
so.
For a new age stadium that you build where you want expanded concourses, you wanted all that.
I think
Is
so.
that site actually
Go
big
up.
enough for it?
Yeah, I think absolutely it
Like you're
is.
saying where Clark is now.
No.
he's
I'm
saying-
saying you
he's
tear down
saying-
Oh, sorry, I see
Commonwealth,
what you mean.
and
Sorry,
then
sorry.
you use
Yeah,
the
okay.
infrastructure's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
in
You build a
place.
temporary
Okay.
stadium, some for a little
For a
bit for
couple
the
years,
Elks, so
yeah,
then
yeah.
like
build
Empire.
a new stadium
and you
on that
build on
site.
that.
You incorporate the field house, the locker rooms, the offices,
Okay.
the community
Yeah.
rec center, and so you just tear down the stadium component of Commonwealth and build a 40,000 seat stadium with a retractable roof on that site. It's no different for people because you're still going to the stadium. It's just the new Commonwealth Stadium kind of thing. Instead of moving it to a Northlands or to the River Valley or downtown.
The River Valley is would be to me the most ideal spot. I don't know where. Like the only place I could picture is that Epcot land.
Yeah.
that I don't know how much is used and how much isn't
Rossdale, I
used.
think
That
it's called.
Rossdale
Yeah,
area.
Rossdale area.
There are some facilities that are of use, and I don't know how easy it is to move those somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's the land I look at. Like I would love the city just to redevelop it completely. You know,
It
like
could use some
restaurants and
love.
things, and like going on the river, like having a spot where you can just go park and go get a drink or something quickly, or people watching. Like if you could build a restaurant with a patio that overlooks the river valley, like the water literally, it'd be
come.
amazing.
We need more rooftop patios.
Those type of things. One coming downtown into Brewery District, but also if you had a stadium there, because I always picture like imagery on TV, you know, and that would be picturesque for us. But I just that's the only spot downtown where or River Valley area that I don't think there's a big open land anywhere else.
Well, the airport land.
But no, by the river.
By the river,
By the river.
yeah,
I don't think there's really anything because it all banks down and stuff. So I don't think there's a good spot that you
Not
could
central,
eat a
at least.
bunch of land outside of going right outside the
further
city.
out.
I love our city, and I will say that the River Valley is beautiful, but I
is.
will say this, it's not developed properly.
No.
Or well. There's other cities across the world that have developed their river valleys beautifully, and we have done a crap job of it.
By all accounts, Winnipeg has done it recently. Like there's, I don't remember what it's called, the area and
Forks
stuff.
area is
Yes,
really nice.
it's apparently
It's really nice.
redone where now they experience the river better, and it's happened recently. But again, money.
That's something we have not done well. I love the trails. I love the golf courses. Glenora is beautiful, but you go down the river and it's not properly developed.
Oh, okay, I gotta quickly go for a quick
Fergie's here.
second.
Was the one.
Yeah, come sit here. For
Yeah,
a
I
quick
can do
second.
that.
Oh, hello, Eric.
Well, now, do I get to read the sheet
Like
too?
Fergie gets special treatment.
Well, he said whenever he shows up, I was supposed to whatever he was doing, regardless.
You guys didn't play backgammon.
Oh no, you didn't hear it last night.
What happened?
This gentleman brings a backgammon board. I'm at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge Monday and Thursday nights for NFL football, and he brings a backgammon board, and we all kind of play. And he's-
Fergie does.
Yeah, Fergie's the master though.
Yeah,
Right? He's
yeah.
teaching us all. But he lost 3 times in a row to Trevor Savage last night.
No way.
3 in a row. We were
Trav.
doing the wave. Neil had us doing the wave in the bar because that's when you do the wave.
That's when you
Not
win.
1, 2, but 3.
Three
Yeah.
is when you
second
go.
period,
Yeah.
So he took the what is it? The apprentice becomes the the
master.
the old saying there, and and then I played Fergie and he wiped the floor with me. I made it close near the end, but
Yeah.
I'm still learning. It's what do you do? But this. Do I read this here?
Yeah,
Tom?
please do.
Should I?
I think you should. I think you should crack all of those and drink them.
I got a cold. I got one waiting.
Oh, you do?
I'm ready
Look
to go.
at you.
The Hangout is presented by Mott's Clamato Caesars, available in both original and variety 12 packs. A great pack size for entertaining and hanging out with friends. This is what we. Can I get you?
No, I'm good. I was Matt offered me one, but I actually am a big fan of Caesars, but
Well, the original. You got the original, the extra spicy, the pickled bean.
Are you drinking the pickled beans?
bean?
extra spicy? That was on ice.
We have like a
Gotta
year's
time them
supply in
cold.
that corner.
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah.
They gotta be cold.
We need more. Send more.
We need more. So, yeah, exactly. Mott's Clamato is the top Caesar brand in the country with over 400 million cans crushed by Canadians every year. Cheers to the Hangout. Cheers to Mott's Clamato Caesars.
Well done.
that was good. Yeah.
I think
Great read.
You could,
You
host
are a
in the Hangout.
master.
What's this mouse here? What are
I
you
don't
guys
know.
talking about?
They don't let me touch any of that
You
stuff.
just
You know that.
That is your regular seat.
That's just where I sit. I
This
hang
is
out. I have to
Maddie's
go in
seat.
15 minutes. You're coming back. You know that, right?
I can't leave now. I love how it's
Yeah.
just going to be you, like
Yeah,
alone
I'll
by
just-
yourself,
yeah, I'll
hanging
hang out with myself.
Fergie's
I can read the thing. I can. Yeah. it works.
prostate, ladies and gentlemen.
oh, hello, Fergie. Good to see you, sir.
Is he all?
I've gotten
Is
set
good?
up.
Yes.
Oh, have a large day, he says.
I read the liner.
Which one did you read?
At the top.
The best one.
Oh, the Hangout.
Yeah.
By Mott's
Bye,
Clamato.
Fergie.
I should speak into a microphone.
Yeah.
Well, that was Movers and Shakers. You could have read that one as well,
No,
which was brought to you by Marco and Mike Realty, Realty One Group Insider, MarcoandMike.com for more information. Sorry, I had a... Fergie's Prostate paid for a nasty club.
Yeah.
And in the email, anyone, he's a premium member, and they got hats. And I was like, hey, do you want a flat or a curved hat? And he said, I don't need a hat. Don't need it. Just
Get him
keep
a
it.
hat.
And I was like, okay, well,
Great.
so you did paid for this, but you're not getting a hat. And so I wanted to make sure, like, are you sure?
Give him
and
a
then he took a hat. So
Good.
I wanted to deal with
Give it to
So
somebody.
that's all that was. What were you guys discussing?
We're joking around and stuff, but propane pimp. Come on, man. He says blow out the golf course. You do not blow out a single one of the beautiful River Valley golf courses. What I'm saying in regard to our River Valley is like you have the wooded areas and all that. The trail system is phenomenal. But in terms of actually developing it, making it a place where people like a promenade and that we have done a piss poor job as a city. And I'm saying we because I am a paying taxpayer.
Yeah.
And love this city because it is where I'm from. We've done a bad job developing it. And like you look around the baseball stadium and you see those empty lots around there and like those old houses. And I'm sure those owners of those houses are not selling cheap as they
I would love to.
I love that they're being reluctant, but like that area needs love. It really does. And it's so underdeveloped. That's what I'm saying, Propane Pimp. I know he likes to needle, Propane Pimp. I know your strategy.
I will go on. I'm not against the idea of getting rid of a golf course downtown.
How dare you?
I'm not.
You need to leave.
Golf. I'm a golf guy.
Which course? Like you're not getting rid of Riverside, you're not Victoria, you're not getting rid of Highlands.
And this is where we can't do it.
You can't do it.
Royal Mayfair, like at the very least, like I look at a Mayfair or something, and I understand why. It's,
you're going after the Mayfair.
Well, because
good luck. Now you're really pissing
They
off
just
Edmonton Elite.
Oh, I'm pissing off the Elite, but the rest of the city
you will
can't
never
enjoy
play
the thing.
there again.
I've never played there, so I'm okay with that.
It's a great course.
I've heard. It's a course I would love to go play. It's a course that I would be amazed.
So snooty though.
It's one of those things where I understand where a large portion of the city goes. Why did we sign a massive, I think, 99-year lease with this place?
Yeah.
When the majority of Edmontonians cannot experience the River Valley and we can't go there. And where I would have, like, the only concession I could have made, there's a couple of public tee times they have to give each year. I would have forced more if I was the city going, the River Valley is underdeveloped. It is underutilized. There's not a lot of opportunities for the average Edmontonian to go there. You find a way to them, okay, here's a situation. A lease was up. Here's a chance to get more people there. It's not happening. We have a lease there. We're there. But I also understand that like when you go down the river, if you go south to north, I'm going to miss some of the courses. But you've got Blackhawk. You've got... Is it River Ridge?
Yeah, River Ridge.
Niagara Ridge.
Yeah.
Or there's a privates. Windermere.
Windy's awesome.
You then get to Windermere is great.
Yeah.
You then have Royal Mayfair for sure. You've got Vic. You've got Riverside. You've got Highlands. You've got a lot of spots to experience the
Rundle
river.
Park is
but it's only for golfers. Not for, and how many Edmontonians are golfers? That I do understand a lot of people, not the majority.
No, that's true.
I do understand where some Edmontonians will sit there and I can't fight them fully and go,
but Matthew,
give me this line. Give us something. Give us something else for the city.
Hang on. Golf courses aside, there's so much space that's underdeveloped in the River Valley, especially in the core of the city, that they could focus on without even considering touching one of the golf courses.
But now, are you having to impact the trees that are there and all of that?
They planted those trees in the 50s.
You don't get rid of them.
No, that's a big. I mean,
yes, you do get rid of them.
No, it's I.
That's the beauty of the River Valley is the number of. There's more greenery in the river.
Dirt.
Do you know there's more greenery in the River Valley than in Central Park?
Yes, I know that.
So you don't get rid of that. That's your selling
redistribute
point.
it.
Sorry, continue.
No. I was just going to say, like, I mean, it's in my past life, I worked for Explore Edmonton, and we would talk a lot about, from a tourism perspective, about the River Valley.
Yeah.
And yet, in some ways, I think we treat it like, the china that you get at your wedding. It's in the cabinet. You use it once every 10 years, and it doesn't come out. And so I think there's a balance to be found of some development, some more development, without the fear of some people of ripping every tree out of the ground. But it's hard. Like when I was heading Edmonton events, so the sport event attraction arm of the city, we would look at cycling events in the River Valley. And there's a lot of steps you have to go through to get approvals for that. And I understand why. I mean, you have to do the environmental assessments, but there are some big steps. So you take that a step further to try to do some development down there. I don't disagree with you. I think there should be more, but there are some massive hurdles and a lot of people that would never want the River Valley touched. And so that's the balance.
It needs some touching.
No, I agree with you. I think
I know.
Sorry, no, I agree completely.
And it's just and for the golf courses. Like I'm not touching the public ones because
I
they're
love how
public.
you're attacking Mayfair.
Well, it's not. It's
that's like old money Edmonton.
I know
the richest of the rich in the city.
They're in the one spot that is the closest to downtown, which overlooks sees downtown,
Mayfair.
and could see the Walterdale and stuff.
To all the Mayfair members out there,
Stop
I
sucking up
love
for
and
golf.
respect
Yeah.
you. And if you want me to come out and play around and hack that course up this summer, I'm your guy.
I'll go find. I'm defending all the other ones. Windermere, I didn't say your name. Blackhawk, I didn't say your name. Invite me to that one.
Blackhawk's even snootier.
I've never been. I would
Great
love
course.
to. It's
I
it's
love
supposed
it.
to
I
be
haven't played it
beautiful,
either. I've just
but
played
it is
Windermere
lovely.
once, but-
It's just like you
Windermere's
don't touch the
great
public
too.
ones because that's for the city. Like it's a public course.
Yeah.
So I would look at the private ones and go, yeah, no. And those leases were up. They were coming up in the city. To me, at least, didn't do enough to go, okay, at the very least, you need to have more public golf tee times as opposed to the private. So Edmontonians could go enjoy the River Valley a little bit more.
There is
And
cross
that's
country
where-
skiing allowed now in the winter
Yes.
at the Mayfair, which was not
Yeah,
allowed
That's
before.
great. You know,
Now there's
you
no
want
snow, so it doesn't really matter now. But
you want to talk about movers and shakers in the city? Just go to the Mayfair. That's the movers and shakers.
And it is like the problem you would have if
Yeah.
you got rid of the Mayfair is now it's been a while since we had, but you know,
not getting rid of
LPGA
the
event would come to the Mayfair potentially.
bring
It's
it
been
back.
there,
They've
right?
been there
Yeah,
twice.
it's been there twice.
Was
know
it
what?
the last one is? I think
It was like 2017. You know
Yeah, it
which
was there.
course?
Yeah, I was just trying
you
to
know
think
which
which course it
course
was.
gets forgotten and is almost equally as hoity-toity as Mayfair?
Is it
Country Club?
I forgot about that one.
That's a great. That's an old course. They've redone stuff there. By the way, hello to all my Country Club listeners that are members. I'm kidding. I'm just trying to suck up to them.
Of course, we get that, Tom. You don't
It
have
is
to explain that to
beyond,
us.
and you know it is
It's-
stuffy. It is uncomfortable, and they're like, "Oh, you can't wear your hat in here today. This is the Mayfair. This is the Country Club." It's like, shut up.
What?
Grow
and the
up.
golf guy in me would hate to
Yeah.
see the Mayfair go away because it's
Well, you're
the one course. I know.
I'm
it's-
defending Mayfair, by the way.
It's the one course that in Edmonton, that and Blackhawk are the two courses I've never played, and I would love to go play them. Like I absolutely would.
They're both awesome.
So as a golf guy,
Blackhawk more so.
it pains me to say get rid of a golf course.
You can't.
But I also understand where like what 70 other percent of Edmonton would go. I don't care about golf courses. Get rid of it, and I get that point. I do.
yeah.
And I would be like, I respect that opinion, but there's many other elements of the River Valley we could get rid of before we touch the golf course or consider it.
yeah, and then ask people what they want to do in the River Valley. That would be the other thing. 'Cause I
don't
think we could go and get rid of the Mayfair and put something in. I think we'd still have fewer
Well,
people
Tube
touching
Sock
the River
says
Valley.
put a 32,000 seat football stadium where the Mayfield is currently resides. So boom, we solve all our problems.
Aren't they redeveloping Horlack Park right now? Are we still
yes.
allowed to call it Horlack Park?
Why wouldn't we?
I don't know. Didn't William Horlack do something
Yeah, he
that was
was-
a niche?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he was not the greatest. It was
Yeah.
before my time, but I've heard
Yeah.
stories about
Yeah,
him as
yeah,
mayor.
Yeah, no, it's
It used to be called
it's a couple
Mayfair. It was
years.
Mayfair Park, and then became Horlock Park.
It's got a couple of years of full
Yeah, we're doing a
renovation
beach and
because
stuff, and
that's
the
why
geese
they
are gonna
had
poop
Heritage
there.
at Northland or Borden
Yeah.
Park
Yeah,
area
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. So I think that's got a couple more years away, and so
3-year build, I think.
Oh, okay. I want to read this text via the Paris Jewelers inbox as Matthew resets. Mayfair is a shadow of its former self. Originally a Stanley Thompson design, JPL, Banff, and hundreds more across country. It's a design that's been lost over the years. Blackhawk is the top course in the city.
Supposed to be.
Rod Whitman design, Cabot Trails, Cabot Revy, Wolf Creek. Ooh, I love Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek's great too.
I've never golfed it.
I played-
Wait,
yeah.
Wolf Creek.
Cougar Creek's awesome. Wolf
Pinocha.
Creek's awesome.
I have golfed that one. And they just sold this past year to an Ontario company.
Oh, really?
That's what it
Okay.
was.
I
They
didn't
were in. They almost received receivership and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
an Ontario
yeah.
company picked them up, and they actually played this year. That is a fun one, actually. Played
Ooh,
both of
Petroleum
them too.
Club.
So-
Bones brings up.
And that's there's a lot of private clubs in Edmonton that I
is
guess
good.
if we got rid
Derek.
of Mayfair, they can go there. Derek, Glendale. Love Glendale.
Glendale's awesome.
Glendale's great.
Shout out to Bruce Hardy. Great dude. He's the GM over there. Glendale.
Tom Schreiber's brought me there many times. Or a few
I
times.
wore
I
a-
love
I
Tom
wore a hat
Schreiber. He
there
doesn't
once,
know
I got
this,
mad.
but Tom, if you're listening.
Do you know? Have you met Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
I went
Just
to
making sure.
college with Haley.
I know, but that doesn't mean you met the parents.
Yes, I went. We would have like parties at her parents' place.
So it's I feel like I I owe something to the golf gods for what I said today.
I don't know if I like the
I have
traffic.
How dare you?
I have shamed the golf gods
Doug, how
today.
dare
So
you?
I know. Well, hey, I mean,
It's-
you could almost golf right now. There's still
yeah,
grass
opened
everywhere.
up in Calgary a couple
Did they?
public
Yeah, I'm
courses
not
for today.
surprised. Oh,
They opened
yeah.
up tee times for today because of how nice it's getting in Calgary
wow.
for today.
Yeah,
We need to melt the snow.
Yeah.
Get the snowblowers out there.
a little bit of snow.
Let's just go to Mayfair and golf.
I don't think I like the traffic problems of a stadium at the Mayfair.
It would suck.
Can you imagine that? Like, yeah,
That would be
Go to
terrible.
just think of Taste or Heritage Days. That's a
awful.
pain.
Yeah.
There would be no parking. I guess that's the other problem about putting a stadium downtown. Just anywhere, there's no parking.
there's no parking.
Riverhawks have a tough time with parking.
I know.
And that's a 7,000 that they
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
You know, we're talking about 32,000. What would happen?
I'd say put the LRT there, but we all know how that's going.
This is where we need to get that gondola.
Well, the gondola is going to go right
You could
through
go
Roswell.
downtown,
Oh, you know
park
how
there, and then
that's
get the
going.
gondola, and it'll stop, and you could keep going.
It
you
was.
know?
It was going to stop at Roswell.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we're going to be. yeah,
Our
would've
civic
been perfect.
projects are a disaster.
That was not a government project, though. That had nothing
That
to
was
do with the
all
government.
private.
Oh, really?
That was all private money.
What happened to it?
I don't know. I don't
Let's
think it's
build another
dead.
golf
The
course.
city needed to give I don't know all the whole story. They had to give approvals on pieces of it, and the city backed up because they were concerned, even though it was private, that they were concerned at some point they were going to be on the hook for it.
Of course they will be.
But
Absolutely they will be. That's part of the deal, baby. How's our funicular doing?
I've never rode it.
It keeps getting destroyed
I
by
want to.
hoodlums.
right idea, maybe in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Because that was the idea with that
was a
was to
great
get
idea.
people closer to the river valley,
Yeah.
to your point. But to me, I'm not sure it's in the right place. I think if you were a little further towards Remax Field,
Like if
that
it was
area,
by
I
the
think it
Mayfair?
might have made, or by the Mayfair, sure. Just have it right down. Right
You're
down
going after
from
the
it.
Mayfair.
Hey, Mayfair. Hey, who's
Just
the
right down
GM
the
over
hill.
at Mayfair? You want a sports broadcaster as a member? I will not pay the fee, though. I refuse.
I don't have the money to pay for
It
a
is
golf membership
ridiculously
in
expensive.
Edmonton.
Oh, I
Well,
need
just
to
in
get a
Edmonton in
membership.
general, because
Yeah.
I do like golfing multiple courses. So it's like, if we got such a short season, I want to be
you're
able to go
stuck in
around.
one, yeah.
If we were in Arizona, we had that weather, you golf 12 months a year, I would easily get a membership because I could go to my main course every
and
so
then still
often,
mix it in
but I
there.
could still go to other places,
Yeah.
head back to my main course. There's just not enough time to, I get 30 rounds a year maybe when I'm golfing to be stuck
I think I
I'm
played
not
like
stuck in one course.
15 this year. It was a disaster.
That's
I
embarrassing.
need a membership somewhere.
That's embarrassing.
Maybe I'll talk to Murdog. Although they're so busy with tournaments at the ranch.
He's in tomorrow on the Hangout, but you're not
Yeah.
here.
No,
so.
no, game day.
So.
Maybe I'll talk to the boys at Cattail.
Never played there either.
It's getting
They
better.
turned it around.
They
They've turned it
needed to
around.
do a lot of work. The clubhouse is beautiful now. Great restaurant. Food's fantastic. It's also a winter club, which they're utilizing the property very well.
Okay, nice.
It had a bad reputation. They're doing the dirty work and making it better.
Yep.
A lot of drainage issues as well.
Oh,
Doug,
really? Okay.
that they've taken care of. So
rain would just pool and you couldn't.
yeah, and exactly. There'd be some weird spots.
Yeah.
Surveyor Brett's coming after you, Tommy.
Why?
Saying Tommy wants to turn the River Valley into the condos. Keep your concrete jungle in the ice district, Tommy. And then Jenna Tills says there is no use in arguing with golf bros. They literally have all day to argue with you with their unique vocabulary.
Yes.
It's true.
This is true.
And
Yes, I admit
but
this.
that's where I agree with. I see the other
More
side
golf.
to all this. There should be more golf.
It's for everyone.
It can be.
It is. There's more women, more
Depends
it'll
kids
where you
have to-
go.
it'll have
It
to be.
depends where you go. It's
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
You go to
that's-
certain courses, it's not.
like the Mayfair.
Even public, there's certain courses, it's not. Go to it. Go there and say, go to a different course. When you go to certain courses, then it's for everyone.
I just
Follow the rules. That's it.
well, the
Yeah.
rules of the golf course, but
Those
like
of course are fine, but like
Yeah.
the not wearing the hat inside when I
Exactly.
got
Those
yelled
ones.
at by a guy.
it's like
that
they
was,
shut
Oh, yeah.
up.
I didn't even. I'd forgotten. We'd come in from our round.
Yeah.
I had my hat on, and the guy he didn't even say anything. He just sort of kind of like he's like,
And you're like,
Like-
yeah, I am thinking.
and I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? Like, what is my hat doing?
You turn it backwards.
I should've.
You just stare him down
That-
and turn
Oh,
it backwards.
I couldn't believe.
Doug,
see what
that is
happens.
the worst.
It
Like,
is. I mean, yeah.
You're not wearing pleated golf pants
Yeah,
today.
that-
Shut up. Shut up. You're lucky I'm not wearing short shorts.
That's why I'm glad like joggers are becoming
It's great.
acceptable on the course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even like hooded shirts are like
Yeah.
it used to be just collared. You could only wear a collared
Yeah.
shirt. And then Tiger Woods ended that
Yeah.
because he had some non-collared shirts that now
Right.
people wear and buy.
You
But I
have
don't
to.
mind having someone with a little hood on it
You have
for
to.
little
You have to
chillier
open the
days.
game up. It can't be that strict.
Absolutely.
People will not. they just won't come back.
Yeah.
It's got to be more open to more people. Even courses, and I don't think it's happening here. I've heard about courses that are allowing you now to, if you don't want to play a full 9 or a full 18, they'll let you, hey, I'm going to play 5 holes. Okay, great. Just to try to get more people. And I don't know how you manage that. That'd be a nightmare. But I've heard about that in the States where they were doing that.
Just got to create some, I guess, trails that are easy to loop back, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Collingwood Rob via the Paris Jewelers inbox. I love this. The history of our city today. Mayor Horlack was convicted of gross misconduct in land dealings of which he owned. Collingwood Rob. Not surprised.
Yeah, I knew it was. Thank you, Collingwood Rob.
Yeah.
I knew it was something because I've heard some story. But he was a mayor. He got Collingwood Rob can correct me. I think he got kicked out of office and then came back and ran again and won, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he was a 2-term mayor, but not consecutive.
You know what?
I stand to be corrected on that.
He was probably a member at the Mayfair.
You might. Well, hey, might have been. They named the park after him next door. So.
I have no comment on those ones. I'm not getting political. I'm not going into the political part. I'm not. Nope. I've yet to get in trouble at EST for those stuff, so I'm going to hold off on those.
That's all
ones.
history.
That's just history.
That's history.
That's brilliant. Okay, I have to go.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. I'm not doing it. When you go, send Lieutenant Eric.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Nasties. EST Hangout presented by Mott's Clamato, a Caesar,
likewise.
top Caesar brand in the country. Tommy's off to Oiler practice as the Oilers, they're back in action tomorrow, which means the Oil Stream pregame show finally returns. Finally returns with Tommy. Tommy, what was the last pregame you did? Was that the Caps? No, Duck. Yeah, Caps.
Yeah, Friday.
Tommy's return to the pregame show coming up tomorrow. That gets going at 6 o'clock because it is a 7:30 game as the Oilers welcome the Hurricanes to town. Yes, please, sir. Lieutenant Eric now joins us here on the EST Hangout, and he's got the Mott's Clamato. He's got the extra spicy. He's ready to go.
He's the only one cold.
Is it?
I'm doing this for all of you. I prefer the green is 1.
Pickled bean.
This would be 2. I think the plain comes in at a last just because plain. Right?
It's... Oh, that's a good question. Pickled bean was when I tried the extra spice, I did really enjoy it.
Spice boy, no? Or,
too spicy or
too
not?
Spicy?
Or
I might put extra spicy 1 ahead of pickled bean.
Oh,
okay.
No, 3 is the original. No offense to number 3.
3 is fine.
But it's those other 2 that are just... Oh, that's a tough choice.
Is the pickled bean spicy one spicy as well, or not so much?
It's got
that little
small bit,
okay.
but not
like
that high heat.
Okay.
Kind of.
I don't think Dusty's tried the pickled bean. That's our litmus test because Dusty doesn't do spice. He won't touch. I won't let him touch the extra spice because I'll just be a waste.
No. Yeah.
He's just gonna take a sip and throw it out. There you go. Pickled bean's not bad. That is that's a tough one.
Collect them all.
Choosing between children. I don't have children, but to me, that's choosing between children. And the original, you're the least favorite. You're the disappointment of the family. Well, no, not that far.
The black sheep.
You started everything, but we don't care.
Yeah, not anymore. No.
The extra spicy and the pickled bean are like 95 students. Like they get 95s in class. The original is like an 85. Like still fine,
pretty good.
But when you compare it to the other 2, you're just like, well, you don't live up to the other 2.
Trades college in grade 10
still
for the
very
original.
good. You're very successful. You're gonna go run your own business or whatever it might be, but you're not gonna be the surgeon and
you're not changing the
rocket
world.
scientist of the world.
Nobel Peace Prize maybe out of the.
Like that's where I would put that.
That's fair. Yeah. No.
That's where, it's
good ranking.
That's the way I would put it. Tonight, big night. Actually, before I get to that part, because you're here. We haven't had you on, Doug, since the Bears and the Hardy Cup.
Yep.
How was it calling that game out there? Like, that looks like a nice stadium, and it was pretty full. It seemed like that. They got quite a few people there.
Yeah, it is a really nice stadium for football. Most of it's hard to tell from our broadcast spot, but most of the east side was full. They have a berm on the other side where they will have people. There was no one over there, but tons of Golden Bear fans off to our left. But it was a really good game. I mean, overall, just 2 teams punch, counter punch. It went back and forth, and for the team in green and gold, it didn't end. They got punched last.
That's a game I think if no one's ever seen U Sport, and you say this is what U Sport football is type thing, that's a game you want to throw to them because. That weekend, there was the semis, I think, of the CFL, I think. Or was it the West Division
far away
Finals?
now,
I can't remember. But like the 2 games that... I think it was the finals.
It was the final.
it was the best game I think all weekend in Canadian football.
Of all the football.
Of all the U Sports, of the 2 CFL games, that was the best game start to finish. It was thrilling action. Bears getting down, coming back, taking the lead. UBC winning in heartbreaking fashion for Bears fans. It was just a solid football.
Well, and ultimately too, like I know you don't end the season with a chip, but getting to where they got from where this program's been, and then the personal accolades Coach Morris and et cetera received. I mean, that's a win of a season and something to really build off.
No, you're right, Eric. I think when the Bears look back on this season, they'll be able to think that way. I think the way it ended, I mean, it was pretty devastating for them because they were this close. And the thing is, they were going to get a St. FX team coming in that was going to be coming across country, not in the same realm. Bears are likely in the Vanier Cup.
Yeah.
They probably lose the Vanier Cup. I think because I'm not sure Montreal's really good. UBC held in though. I'll give UBC credit against the Les Carabins, but yeah, it was. I think you're right. I think when they look back on the season and the thing too is that Coach Morris has built a program that I think can sustain itself. That was the challenge back in 04-05 when they went 7-1 in back-to-back seasons. You thought, okay, maybe they've turned this corner here, and it didn't. They didn't have that next quarterback. They didn't have that next group that could come in. Whereas now you've got Hetlinger for another 3 seasons. You've got
he's that young?
Yeah, he's just finished second year of eligibility.
That's a recruiting. I mean, you can't just go to the free agent pool, shall we say, and pick up a guy, or if this isn't happening. And you're right, to have a guy like him now and a bit of a plan in place, away you go.
Yeah, and you've got Matthew Peterson back if he wants to come back for his last year of eligibility. Your O-line's going to be likely all back, maybe one. Daniel Shin may not be if he decides to go pro. Your receivers are all young. Second, third year guys. You lose Jonathan Rosary, that'll change things a bit. Defensively, most of your guys are back. You lose a couple guys up front, which will be tough on the D line. But they're bringing back basically this entire team. So,
with motivation,
huge motivation,
and as you say,
and I think huge motivation, and I think huge belief of where they are. And I think that's the difference. And you saw that even in that game where they got down early and I thought, okay, I thought this game could go this way, where a more experienced UBC team would just come in and run Alberta's show. Hetlinger fumbles that ball. UBC gets that, recovers in the end zone, and they didn't blink. He got better.
Yeah.
And they took that game over. I mean, the Bears were the better team for the majority of that football game. And I think that sense of belief they have now, I think, is something that maybe hasn't been there before.
And that's a good point too. You're not you can hang with them, a play here, a play there, and then you can even say, well, if we would have advanced, you play St. FX, who's like that's. I know you don't do that immediately following the game, or you don't want to besmirch an opponent, but you could have saw the path there, and now they can see that and really identify and say, let's push forward and go get it.
Well, it's little things. I mean, a guy coming in not declaring as eligible wipes out a touchdown that would have made it 31-14. That game's over at 31-14.
Yeah.
Because the Bears had completely taken that thing over in the third quarter. You don't get a field goal. You get nothing out of that.
Yeah, that single is a huge difference. We're going overtime.
That's right. So everything changed, right? But again, there's a lot of belief, I think, in that team, is my sense.
And there should be. It's just, I also look at, like you say, one O-line might not be back, O-lineman. It's one where I feel like, just from the very far outside looking in this country now, if you want to be an offensive lineman that wants a chance at the pros, one of the places you got to potentially come to is the Bears, because Chris Morris now has the track record of sending guys, not just to CFL, but to the NFL. And he knows what he's doing, and he speaks up.
He knows the position.
He's done it. He's done it very well. He's got a few rings to show for that. He's got the wall in Edmonton to show for that, and that's a prestigious wall to get onto. It's to having that, as you put it, like just was
there's some continuity.
And being able to just a cycle where you can just keep bringing play.
Carry over.
The O-line would be the one where it's like, I would think most years now that the Bears are going to be able to have a strong O-line, and that right off the bat in collegiate level, university level, like that's a huge win right there, because what type of holes are you getting for whatever running back you have if you have the better O-line?
Well, and patching and playing, like to lose a graduating class is your whole line or whatever, but losing a guy, you plug him in, he's now around vets, he eventually becomes the vet, and you just keep patching things up as you go and bringing in, and again, with the success and some of those names you mentioned, the recruitment should be all the more fun, I guess, for Chris Morris and co.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, a good example is Matt Edin, right guard, second-year player. He actually played a decent amount of fullback last year because for a lot of reasons. But Chris Morris thinks he's the best guard in the country. He's a second-year guy.
Jeez.
Canada West All-Star. I mean, so to what you guys are saying, I mean, they've built from the line out, and their line is consistently good. And I mean, Hellinger has lots of time. They're able to run the ball. I think they're a dangerous team. I mean, we'll see what UBC comes back with. I think their 2 tackles are gone. I stand to be corrected on that.
Can never count Neil out, though.
Never count Neil out.
I mean, hey, Blake Neal did a masterful job with that UBC team this year. I mean, they're good. I mean, I think it'll be Alberta UBC again next year. Saskatchewan, who knows? They got some holes they got to fill, but they're always good as well. Scott Fleury is always good too. So we'll see. But yeah, it was. I mean, for Alberta, it was a tough way to end the season, but on the whole, I think they'll be pretty happy with what transpired.
Are you doing basketball again this year? Calling games? How do the teams look?
The Pandas are very good. If you want to come watch a really fun team, the Alberta Pandas, Scott Edwards, he's always been a coach that has liked to play up tempo. They like to push the pace. He can go 9, 10, even 11 deep on his bench, and he'll just cycle guards in. So there's pressure all the time. They really push the tempo, and they're a really fun team to watch. They're hosting nationals here, so their berth at nationals is set, but they split with a really good Calgary team this week. They lost to Saskatchewan, both at home. Probably should have won both games. This Panda team is really good. I think they're contenders to win it all when they host in March. The Golden Bears, they have a starting 5 that I think is amongst the best in the conference, but they're unfortunately right now really thin beyond that, really young beyond that. As those 4, their 4 key guys play, 3 fifth-year guys and 1 second-year guy in Isaac Simon had 33 points in a loss on Saturday to Calgary. They're just thin. They just don't have a lot of depth right now, and it's going to be a tough. Their schedule gets a little bit easier in the second half of the year, but they're going to be a playoff team. That's not a concern, but they're just a little thin.
More of an exciting style of play, much like the Pandas too, in that regard.
Yeah, they've got. Again, the 4 guys they've got, and Adam Page, Lars Ashimwe, Brandon Micklejohn, and Isaac Simon are a lot of fun to watch. Brandon Micklejohn just set a Golden Bears record a couple weeks back for threes made in a game. He had 10. Ooh. He had 8 in the second half, which would have tied the record itself. He had 41 points that night, 3rd most in Golden Bears history in a game, and was 1-3 off of tying the Canada West record. So they can score.
Yeah.
But again, you need some guys, and they're getting some performances off the bench. They just need some more help to support those 4 guys.
Good for the Pandas too. If you have that depth and you're hosting and you're already looking good, I mean, to roll some depth to be hosting the championship. Yeah, you still got to go out and do it. But that's a nice paved road for you.
For sure. And they've got a tough schedule. Like I said, they had Saskatchewan, perennial powers. Calgary's a really good team. They get Regina in the second half of the season, also really good. So, talking to Coach Edwards, he said, "Look, I mean, our schedule is really, really tough, but it's good because we're gonna know where we sit.
That's
come
true.
March." So, yep.
March, I just actually got a text in regards to March. T-Mac, the rugby guy, giving me a heads up personally.
Oh,
Matt, Guar just announced a show at Midway, March 17th, and I know it's not Guar of the past still.
Oh,
but Guar is coming back, and I do highly recommend.
No Maximus Odorous Urungus though this time. Hey, R.I.P.
Give me, go see Guar, go stand in the back and watch the show.
You go to Guar, you dress in all white, you go to Guar, and then you go to Subway afterwards. To really freak up the normies, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell happened here?
It is, if you want to know what a Guar show looks like, just literally Google or YouTube Guar Live and go watch the show. It's an experience. And I've only done it once. I've only done it in an outdoor show.
No, you got to be indoor.
Now I got to go to the indoor show. So March 17th, I got to go plan that.
When they were on Jerry Springer back in the day. And then they took Jerry on stage and the worm ate him. They fed Jerry to the worm.
Did they?
And he's like, oh, no. And then we never saw Springer again.
It's a Sunday. It's St. Paddy's Day, of course.
Oh, perfect.
That Monday is going to be
Credit
special
to them because they do all their own props. They do everything themselves. Music videos, everything. Like they are the craftsmen of heavy metal. But all that costumery, all the propery,
but
everything.
There's no original members left anymore, is there?
No, it's kind of like the Guess Who now.
It's new people.
Burton Cummings is swearing at them.
Guess who's on the stage.
Exactly, that's just it.
But still, it is an experience.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
it's one of those. And if you've never gone, just stand in the back and watch. Just watch
it's like
an
a comedy show, really.
They can play Sphere.
Oh,
I want them at the halftime show of like Grey Cup or something.
Come on, let's dream a bit, hey?
Like it was, we had it last week. That one, or I said Primus. Just like really go outside the box and give a show to people. Let them experience something so weird and different, and give me that one. But Guar would be something else. And thank you, T-Mac, the rugby guy, for giving me the heads up, because I said when I went, Guar came for Chaos. It was the metal outdoor show that happened at Kingsman, and I said I'm never going to miss Guar again when they come to Edmonton. And then during the pandemic, all of a sudden, while we were at the old place, all of a sudden I was seeing the Bear posting pictures on a Monday of Guar from the night before. I'm like, Guar was in town? I didn't hear this once. So I missed them that time. So
Ministry as well, I think, in March. Are they? It was a Union Hall, whatever it's called now. Yeah.
Well, hopefully not March 17th, because I will be at Midway watching Guar.
It'll be a double dip.
We should be the presenting sponsor of Guar. Edmonton Sports Talk presents Guar live at midday.
A few members on the Hangout,
Oh
full
my
costume.
God. I'll reach out.
If they can do Springer, they can do EST.
They did an NPR thing. Lucas was talking about this. NPR does this thing where, and NPR is, for those that don't know, it's like the public radio broadcaster of the U.S. And they do this thing where they have like this little book room or something, and they have bands come play, and they Guar play in this small room. Yeah. Guar on NPR.
No, they're don't let the
hey, you mix it up like you said. You just change
the
up
blood and guts is all for show. They're really nice guys. They're all from a different planet, but they're very friendly.
They've come to our planet to entertain us. And that's all it is. So March 17th, Sunday, that will be something else.
So we're taking the 18th off then.
An EST
One of those EST stats we cash in.
Could you imagine Dusty at Guar?
I can. Let's get him there. When you're way in.
Let's not show him a single video of Guar prior.
He can be eaten by the worm.
Yeah.
Like Springer.
We don't send him a video. He doesn't know what Guar is. We just take him to it.
He just thinks it's a show.
Him and YouTube Trev at Guar.
Trev, that'd be it for him. I don't know if he was ready for that one. That would be.
Welcome to EST, Trev.
I'd buy tickets to watch him watch the show. That's how interesting that would be.
We'll get a deal done that we're not going to film the show. We'll just film YouTube Trev.
Yes.
And people could watch
Watching
that
him
one.
watch. Yeah. Opens his mouth and then boom, gets a squirt of ooze right in there.
Have you ever seen Guar?
No. I haven't. I had a friend in high school who was a huge thrash metal fan, so I heard about Guar through him. So I've not seen Guar, but I know of them and certainly know some of the antics. I shouldn't say antics. Some of the show. Let's just say the show.
Yeah. It's bit of show, bit of reality. Yeah. They like
it's double A. Trev at Guar, the end of his innocence.
It's the end of everything. That would be the of everything he's experienced and everything he will experience. That might just be we shut it down. Like that's it. Thank you for coming out. Roll the credits and everybody go home and have a good night.
6 months of EST or whatever, and that's the end.
That's the high note.
We got to Guar. We got Dusty and Trev.
No more eye opening than that.
If the Oilers play there, you could do the.
So we have to include
game
Oilers play. Oh my God!
Live at Guar.
What's the chance the Oilers are playing that night?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, get Tommy out there, suited up.
Just we'll do the full live on location at Guar.
Why not?
March
doesn't hurt to ask.
Oh, they're off.
Damn it.
Darn it.
Well, at least we can go to the show now.
We could all go.
We can
all go. Can now come
exactly.
too.
We can all go.
We'll just make it a big thing.
EST night out at the.
I'll look for the tickets. I'll just buy them. Tell them they all owe me money. You're coming.
Yeah, that's right.
It's that simple. Tonight's big night, Canadian soccer wise, is Christine Sinclair ends her time with the national team. It's her farewell song, her swan song, out at BC Place, which you could watch on TSN. I think it could work on TSN for 7 o'clock. TSN picked it up. TSN got a deal done, and they're going to pick it up.
Okay, because we were watching. So my partner's actually at this. She's a huge soccer fan. Went out to the game, so she'll be there tonight. But we'd watched a little bit of the one from Victoria, but weren't sure if they were. If it was just going to be one soccer, or if it was going to be.
TSN got the deal done to show it to everyone, so we could all watch Christine Sinclair.
I would have been shocked if not. I mean, that's
it would have been disrespectful to her for what she's done nationally for our country. She's our greatest soccer player.
It would be a total ignorant type of not being able to read anything going on in the room move.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, exactly.
But a Tuesday night against Australia in a friendly, are we content with her going? Like I know you're going on your own terms. It's an event night where nothing else takes the stage. I mean that's for her. But I would have liked to seen like a. Yeah, I mean, when you're as a pro, you're ending either biting a medal or doing not on a Tuesday night out in. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, It's hard to do the Swan Song internationally.
Yeah.
Because there's no, like...
You can't plan for it.
If it'd been the World Cup this year for her to land, so then now you do the celebration tour. The windows are specific of when you can play. So when was the last game? Was it Friday or Saturday?
It was
game in Victoria.
No, it was Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
That was Australia as well,
Thursday.
correct?
Yeah, they brought Australian for the two. Okay, so like the only thing is you could do is if you could have got one of those games on the weekends.
Yes,
She plays
Yeah.
the
No,
one,
I'm wrong.
but
It
she
was
doesn't
Friday.
play the
Sorry,
2nd
I'm
one.
wrong.
Was it
It was
Friday?
Friday. That was my mistake.
You
It was
play
Friday.
you make the Friday the Swan
Sure,
Song
yeah.
if you
just
want,
to give a bit more of a.
and then she doesn't play this one, and it's over, and you swap the venues maybe or
just the
something.
Tuesday night
but
seems a little, but
it's
not complaining.
Like we could praise Alphonso Davies for how great he is, and he plays for Bayern Munich. He's not the greatest soccer player Canada has.
Nope.
It's just that simple. It's Christine Sinclair, and you look at what she's done goals-wise internationally. Look at what she's accomplished. How she's led that women's national team to carrying the water for Canada soccer for 2+ decades. This is the end of just a glorious career that it's sad that it's over, but also happy that it happened because of how amazing she was. I was one of those lucky ones that was in Commonwealth for 02 when she came onto the singing scene with Carol Lang and that whole team and Aaron McLeod and all that. And I can't believe it's gone this long even too. Like it's
Well, that's
what a career.
time, yeah.
Like how long she has played is unbelievable. And I'm glad she at least has a Canadian trophy in terms of the gold medal for the Olympics. She deserves one. She was that good of a player.
Decorated individual. And I mentioned on the show, I mean, both the men's and women's programs. I mean, she's the one walking so everyone else can run.
Absolutely.
And I think you said, too, carrying water for Canada soccer, which is...
Period.
Not a lot of us have the strength to do that, I don't think, as long as she has. And always never a bad thing attached to her name.
Yeah.
With I think, again, Canada soccer and the perils that it's faced, albeit by maybe their own doing.
Yep.
She's always carried herself with grace, a lot of positivity, a great ambassador for the country. Really sums up what it means to be a Canadian, I think, in all of our minds in terms of humbleness and all of that.
There's a toughness to her.
Tough-
I go back to that
A bit
World
of a
Cup
guile,
when
yeah,
she
yeah.
had her nose broken and she played through that. And people want to
The
say
London
how
screw
soft
job, yeah.
Canadian soccer players are. Well, she was the opposite of that. She was that
Yes.
tough one that played through the injury, played through all that. And
But didn't do it for clout or didn't do it
nope,
for...
did it for country.
Yeah.
That London one where I think she scored a hat trick in that. And we got screwed completely in that one.
But
And she
was
didn't
a time
bite her
in the
tongue on
semi.
it too.
No.
She spoke up for the
yeah.
country and
There's an edge
called
to
out
her.
everything.
But did it in a way where it wasn't, it didn't cross the line. We're like, you're a, this spoiled brat, this or that or whatever. You felt like she was really fighting for you, whatever stage, Olympics, whatever. And in that London, throughout her career, maybe you can identify a few spots where you really latched on to what she's doing or whatever. But that London thing, I mean, we were at Boys House there, all of us, college, huddled around the TV and just like all buying into that. And she was the one captaining all of that. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that whole time. She's it's not just the women's game, but the whole Canada soccer. She is the face.
Yeah. No, for sure. And you guys both hit on something that I think is so key is that humility. But there's an edge to her, but in a way that it's so balanced. Actually, she was in town a couple weeks ago. We saw her speak at the convention center, and it was actually really interesting because you can just tell like she does these, but she's not comfortable with that kind of like she gets into it and she does a really good job, but she's just not that comfortable with talking about herself or accomplishments that she or the team has had. But it was interesting. I saw her at a conference a few years ago. I saw Abby Wambach speak. I mean, you couldn't have two more contrasting styles. I mean, Abby Wambach is, frankly, in my mind, as arrogant a person as I've seen speak. Yet, I mean, an incredible athlete and did a lot for USA soccer too. But Sinclair just, there's just a balance to her, how she comes across. And again, as you both said, she's just done so much for sport in this country, I think, as much as she's done for soccer. But it's a pretty incredible legacy that she's
that
built.
Abby Wambach, that's a great example because you look at both programs, both countries,
They
and
fit their
basically
countries.
It's so perfect, right?
They fit their countries and who those countries
Sinclair actually
are.
sort of, it was funny. She's kind of like in a casual way, sort of hinted at that about the arrogance of the. She says we're all friends, but
like a true Canadian.
But
Spoken
there's
like a true
an
Canadian.
arrogance to them. But no, you're right. I mean, they definitely describe and highlight what I think makes both of our countries unique.
Yeah.
Well, and Sinclair is one of our greatest athletes. I don't care about gender. Just right up
no,
there.
no,
it's
yeah.
athlete
We don't
in
need
that.
to, yeah.
But when you go
100%.
to the, she also paved the way, though, I think, for girls and stuff to be like, you can be this praise. Like, it's not men's doesn't dominate our country, right? It's not just the men game that matters.
And you can bite back
it's
if
the
somebody
women.
says
Absolutely.
so in that
And
regard, right?
Like for 20 years, our best part of soccer was on the women's side, not on the men's side. And it can be done where we care more about the women's game, and you could be treated as equals compared to the men.
It's a great
and she
example
helped
of it
lead
all.
that going because she brought Canada soccer onto the map. I'll go there. Like it just
We
in
were
general.
all
sure she did.
supporters of the women's team.
We became
Before
that way.
this,
Yes. We cared when they played internationally, whether it be an Olympics or the World Cup. We cared, and it's because of Christine Sinclair, and she showed up in big games too. She wasn't one of those people that just scored goals, and she scored a bunch of, had 5-6 goal games against small countries. Back to the screw job in London. Hat trick.
Yeah.
In the big games for the majority of her career, and like the later years, obviously she's not the same player, but for the majority of her career, when it mattered, you knew Christine Sinclair was showing up, and she had a chance at a goal if she didn't already score
Bet
2.
on it. Yeah.
And she'll still be. I mean, I think the thing is that we're certainly not at equity yet in terms of the on lots of things, let alone soccer and sport. But I think she'll continue to find ways to show up and to be part of that conversation. So I think that's a good thing. That's not going to go away. And I mean, even I think she mentioned when we heard her speak, she said after the World Cup, she still wanted to be part of helping the team get to Paris. She's like, I'm not going to be at Paris. I'm done with that. But she wanted to be part of helping them get there. So there's still that desire to be a part of growing the game.
A realization she can and should, given her status. But then, as you mentioned, too, a reluctant. She's not naturally somebody who wants to be. And again, she doesn't want to be in. That's there. No. She's out of the picture now, behind the scenes, but still realizing she can do a lot of good stuff in that.
You could contrast that with Cristiano Ronaldo, who, there comes a point where you could sit there and be like, well, maybe Portugal, it's time to move on from him. And we saw at the last World Cup, the manager tried to move on from him.
It's tough. You
and
can't,
it caused a big problem because Ronaldo was pissed off and he was
You're one in, one out.
And now he's back in. And then he was going through the Euro qualifying and stuff. But it's like, when do you start the transition to the new people? When do you start the transition to the next generation, all that? And
it can tarnish your rep,
though, it was going, I'm done. Like, she could, if she wanted, as you said, she could be there in Paris for us.
Right. Sure. And I don't think
Bev Priestman would have to make a decision of what do you do with her? Does she come off the bench? Does she start? Like all of that. And you now have got to manage the legacy of Christine Sinclair.
Yes. Yep.
But she's going, no, I did the World Cup. There's it. I'm done. On to the next generation. And the next generation is there. I'm sure I haven't talked to those women, but the majority of them will say they're there because of Christine Sinclair too, right?
Yeah.
She's created this for the next, all those younger players like a Heidema and stuff, Fleming, they're there because of what Christine Sinclair did.
But smart enough to remove herself when it is time.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, not like a Wambach Ronaldo personality where I need to kind of, you're removing that question from the manager and saying, go manage the tournament. You don't have to worry about me and this and that and the other. Yeah. Just another quality of her, I guess, what we've seen.
It'll be, on a lot of levels, I think it'll be a tough night for her because I think, again, the spotlight, it won't be something that she's in love with.
Yeah.
But everyone else, I think she recognizes enough to know, there is a humility, but I think she recognizes, hey, I know there are people that want to celebrate this, so I think it'll be...
Let it all out, this is your night.
And BC Place will just absolutely erupt.
Christine Sinclair Place, I think they've
yes.
You're correct, and they will just absolutely erupt, and there'll probably be a little bit of a pause as she takes her time coming off the pitch the one last time for Canada.
Would have preferred a Friday or Saturday night, but at home against in a friendly, her night, her place, good on them.
And credit to Vancouver and all the Voyagers that, like your wife, I think Larry Zima is a listener of ours. He headed out for packing BC Place for this. It's over 35,000 that are going to be there to give her that final swan song that she deserves. And also credit to our former place, TSN, for carrying it, because there are a lot of people that will want to watch this, and we should watch it. It is a big night for... Good thing the Oilers aren't playing, because screw the Oilers. We wouldn't be watching. We'd only be watching soccer. Now we don't have to come tomorrow and be like, we missed the Oilers game because we're watching Sinclair. We could just focus on Christine Sinclair.
Maybe that's the scheduling.
Although
here I am bitching it's on a Tuesday. It's an Oilers off day. This is why they did it.
8 o'clock.
What?
The game's at 8.
7 o'clock.
10 o'clock Eastern. They needed to play that one earlier.
Yeah.
If I had it, I will go if you're
saying so you want to move it back to Toronto, do you, man?
No,
hey, you're a Toronto love you. You're a big BMO guy, aren't you?
Not a chance.
He's really not.
But that game, I could see it having been played at I can handle 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. I know it's tougher for people to get there a little bit, but then you get the East watching it as the final. But still, an amazing career, and it'll be weird next year at Paris watching them without Sinclair. But that's going to be the weird part, where she's not part of the roster at all. I'll be like, whoa, that's different.
But I do wonder what she then in the future, because a great ambassador, obviously, and somebody who can still influence greatly at multiple levels. I just do wonder where she kind of goes from here. But no, this will be put her on the 10, put her on the 20, put her on the 50, right? One of these things. So you put her a commemorative coin. I don't know.
Well, I mean, for what she's done for sport in this country, it's hard to argue that she doesn't
Walk of Fame, et cetera, like do it all.
She deserves it all.
Yeah.
Just one of the best athletes our country's ever produced.
She must be. She must be on the Walk of Fame already. Is she?
There's got to be. Like I don't.
The Canadian Walk of Fame. Now, is that like the Hollywood Walk of Fame where you have to pay for it? Or is
you out of pocket as the
Hollywood Walk of Fame? You pay for that. They don't just give it to you. You
pay for like the installation and the materials.
You pay to get your name done into that. Like, it's not just
what about like upkeep? Is there like a yearly?
Oh, I have no idea. Canadian Walk
is it cheap?
Every year they just go to do that. Induction.
Go to Mr. Clean for a sponsorship for my cleaning.
Induction list of accomplishments.
She's got to be on there.
Inductees. Oh, now I got to scroll through all these.
Sorry for putting you on this.
No, that's fine. Here, it's alphabetical. That's perfect.
Awesome.
I was worried it was going to be by
David's on the.
Well,
they have the discussion.
There's
not a lot of hockey players that are on there. Like Sidney Crosby's not on there.
Really? So what's the okay? I mean, I don't.
All of these things are weird awards and all this.
Yeah. Oh, there she is. 2013.
There you go.
2013. Good for her.
Okay.
The Wikipedia has it Olympic bronze medalist, which is wrong. It's gold medalist. At the time, she was bronze, but she's gold medalist. Wikipedia. I'm gonna have to go change that. And one of the most prolific scorers of all time. Well, the most prolific international goal scorer of all time. Come on, Wikipedia. I'm going to deal with that later. See if I can adjust that. I will make that change.
2013, though, hey, good prime time of her.
After London. Yeah. She'd been there for, well, if you go 02, 11 years at the national program, at least. I don't know how much longer it was before 02. She'd have been part of it. And
that time.
It just flies, doesn't it?
That does not feel like
the concept of time is just wild.
And see, I think, is it Jessie Fleming's now the face? I think she's kind of the face now.
Her, Becky, maybe.
Well, look at that whole crew, Grosso. The Caitlin Kyles. I mean, all that generation from London is all. I mean, that was my team. Damn it! Like,
that was the team that should have won a gold, but we got screwed, and that's why it was good that they won in 16. But
right, yeah, they never. We always needed that one. They deserved that one.
We all celebrated a bronze like it was a gold.
Like FSU will claim part of it.
Claim that.
Wikipedia doesn't need to keep up, so neither do we. We've claimed part of that gold. Why not?
Right. Well,
we do it today.
UCF, we said yesterday, has the claimed national titles. We're gonna have claimed gold. We're gonna have a gold medal and a claimed gold medal.
Let it be known.
Declare it.
We're gonna declare exactly.
Edmonton Sports Talk has declared Canada the gold medalist of the 2012 Women's Olympic Soccer. Football, if you want.
There you go.
There it is. Edmonton Sports Talk has claimed that as a nation we could celebrate. Hopefully they make that announcement at Sinclair Place tonight. That it is official. It's done. We've declared it. Period.
Hand out the medals.
That's it. We've just done it.
Yes.
It's that simple.
The IOC.
By the way, if you're looking for any promotional products like we have been doing with our merch, our official merch partner is the Hive Product Marketing. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com, if you're looking for any sort of promotional products. They did a fantastic work with the hat that Eric's wearing and everything else that we have. The Nasty Club members are getting their stuff in the store orders. Hopefully will be coming the next week or so, and then those will get shipped out to you. So if you're looking for promotional products, thehiveproductmarketing.com is where you want to go, and you could ask for Chelsea. She'll take very good care of you like she is for us. So
happy birthday, Chelsea.
Yes. Well, we threw out the birthdays at the start because we had JMO on Sunday. Yesterday was Chelsea. Today's Low Tide's
Do you
birthday.
do this on the Hangout at Monday?
You should at the end.
I think you should.
Yeah, today's birthday.
It's like Romper Room. You look in the screen and you announce
today's Low Tide's birthday.
Happy birthday, Tide.
And Trevor Stewart's, our former engineer's birthday.
Old Trev, hey?
Yes. So today is the 5th. Let's see what birthdays are on December 5th. If you want to do the celebrity birthdays.
I love it. I think if you got a child or somebody you want to shout out.
This is a terrible set I'm on. The first three ones are YouTube stars. We don't care about
Mr.
YouTube
Beast?
stars. I hate that I've been put on the spot now for this.
Well, I mean,
I'm
probably lots of people into.
No one's. Oh, Frankie Muniz's birthday today, maybe.
Frankie Muniz?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Frank.
So that's his. You know who I'm talking about there. Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
Him,
for
look,
sure.
I was
Yeah.
with you from like.
Well, I just
It's his
Frank,
birthday.
Frank, we love you.
Little Richard's birthday.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's anyone else.
Frankie Nunez, Little
Well,
Richard.
when you start with low tide, it's Frank
Yeah,
Stewart.
sorry.
Low Tide might kind of own the day. It
Yeah,
sounds
I
like.
think
Walt Disney's birthday.
marquee.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking at here. I don't know if there's anything
Walter?
else. So that's it. So yeah, it's this other site is a little different. It might be Bette Midler's birthday.
It might be. She shares claim of the birthday. I also claim this day as my birthday.
Yeah, let's just declare.
I
that
should
it's
do.
Do you
Bette
want to?
Midler.
Happy birthday,
way.
Doug?
Thanks.
Yeah, no,
You guys are going to declare today?
We're
Yeah, why
declaring
not?
the medals. Let's just declare
Yeah.
people's
Yeah.
birthdays.
Give me
So
a
happy
slice.
birthday to Doug McLean and Lieutenant Eric.
And Bette Midler.
And Bette
And
Midler.
Bette Midler. Well,
Frankie Muniz,
here we go. Bursts. This is what I want to get
Births.
to. Well, I like the
Now we're
Wikipedia
getting-
better. Yeah, so it is Little Richard's birthday.
Okay.
That one I could confirm. According to Wikipedia. Actually, I can't confirm it because we just learned from
Put it in
Wikipedia
stone.
that Sinclair's only a bronze
Yeah,
medalist.
well.
And one of the most prolific goal scorers, not the most prolific goal scorer. Brian Murray's birthday was today. He's posthumously. Happy birthday to him. Jim Plunkett.
Okay. Yeah.
Patriots might. They could use him back again.
They could use a few. Trying to see if there's anyone else that just
You're
jumps off.
scrolling a lot though. Like there's a lot of names. But it's
they
just
do like there's an Argentinian lawyer, Alberto Nisman. That's his birthday
Alberto.
today.
Many happy returns, my friend.
You want me to
Can't wait
celebrate
to have you
his
on the
birthday?
Hangout. Argentinian lawyer. Like, just says that.
Yes.
What are we doing here?
Cliff Floyd's birthday.
Cliff Floyd.
We got
Okay,
Cliff
yeah.
Floyd today.
Love it.
I'm trying to get. So I'm in the 70s right now.
Floyd was an expo.
I'm
eh?
just
I think.
scrolling
Expo
still.
and a
Was he?
Marlin.
Marlin. Yeah, Marlin. Yeah.
I think
James
he's a Marlin
Hinchcliffe?
when the Trappers were there.
Canadian IndyCar driver.
Okay,
James
yeah,
Hinchcliffe,
yeah.
It's his birthday.
Nice.
Cam Fowler.
Okay.
So we're there.
Okay.
Caitlin Osman, Canadian figure skater.
Hey.
I didn't see Bette Midler. Now I have to look up Bette Midler.
Well, that's the question of
Just
the day
'cause
now.
that was the one
She's also claiming.
I
her-
wished her a happy
Undefined
birthday. So
birthday.
You will.
Bette Midler is born. No, December 1st, so we missed it.
Ah.
Okay, so
Happy belated,
to Bette Midler.
You are
there,
the wind
so
beneath our wings.
There's the EST birthday shout out for today, led by Low Tide Alan Mitchell. Happy birthday to him. So I'm not going to say his age. I told him I DM'd
Oh,
him
you
today.
know it.
Oh yeah.
No, he's never told me.
Him and JMO are 2 days apart.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah.
Literally same
Literally
year.
2 days? Oh, really?
2 days
Oh,
apart.
wow.
Literally the same year and stuff. So
That's right.
Who would have thought that the stretch of 72 hours would give us such broadcasting legends of Edmonton?
So we haven't missed Jamo's birthday then. It's in.
It was on Sunday.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Yeah, it was his birthday. Yeah, he was Sunday.
I didn't.
Chelsea was
I
yesterday.
thought maybe Dave was after now.
Also, you'll know this, but no one of our listeners will. Just because it's Chelsea's birthday, I remember Shannon Burns' birthday was yesterday.
Hey, Shannon, happy birthday.
And then
Man,
today is Low Tide and Trev.
I like this hangout birthday thing. You should do
good.
this.
I
Make
might
it a thing.
have to.
Yeah.
Well,
And you stare really tight into the camera
and just look at them.
verbatim. You read out the
If
list.
you have a birthday shout out that you want, 780-218-9999
kids love it.
or jump into the next chat and we'll throw out your birthday on the EST Hangout birthday celebrations. We could get that sponsored maybe. Like Party
think it's
City.
Ah,
There's a perfect
There
sponsorship
you
for
go.
Party City.
No, for sure.
shoot off a few.
I know it's someone else's birthday this month, but I'm just going to leave it at that. It's also Yukon Jack's birthday later this month.
Yeah, right.
so
That's another
the
one.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
talking
When's your
about.
I know you laid claim to half of it today,
I'm
but
into March. I'm,
March. That's a
28.
good.
And today, because you've claimed today.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I share mine
'cause
with
he's-
Jeff Bookaboom and Bob Stauffer.
Oh, I love
There
it.
you go.
You share a birthday with Bob Stauffer.
right off the top of his head. This is great.
Bob and Zach Hyman with a big bet yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna,
Zach Hyman, Michigan grad. Staff, Bama super
Bama
fan.
fan.
They're
Grad.
meeting in the Rose Bowl, so the winner is wearing a hat.
A cap,
of the
yeah,
other
for each,
team.
yeah.
Staff on a broadcast. I've never seen Staff in a cap. So
That'd be a look, hey?
That
I
would be a
really
look.
now
I'd
want.
like to see, yeah, just
I do
Yeah.
want Michigan to win in general, but now I really want them to win. To
Come
see
on, Big
Bob having
Blue.
to wear a Michigan hat.
Yeah.
Our colors are Michigan.
Button was sporting a Michigan Wolverines sweater on the hit this morning on the Nielsen show, so perhaps he's also.
Button doesn't know anything when it comes to in-season tournaments, so that's all I'll say.
Yeah, he was pretty fired up on that.
I didn't hear.
Well, what
that
do you, okay,
first.
well,
I
you're,
didn't miss that.
okay, but clean. Your thoughts on the NBA in-season tournament, just without any.
I don't. I mean, it's taken. We were chatting a little bit before we went
Yeah.
on. Like it's taken off more than I kind of thought it would. it's still a bit. I mean, I think it's neat what soccer's done for years. So I think it's fun.
It doesn't annoy you.
No, it
does
doesn't. No, it doesn't annoy me. I get why they're doing it. The courts kind of annoy me, but I'm just annoyed with NBA having 17 different jerseys and I can't tell who's playing or what court.
Here we go.
That annoys me. But
the court's too flashy.
It's too flashy. I get why they're doing it because I think it does help kind of separate out in-season tournament from regular season games. So I get that. No, I think it's been neat. I mean, I'm a Bucks fan. Whatever, they're playing tonight, quarterfinal. So we'll see how they do against the Knicks.
Well, why not?
You against Clausen's Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to wear I should have worn my Bucks shirt today.
Me and Dusty's Lakers are taking on. Is there any Suns fans that we know?
Suns have been 7-3 last 10.
Swain? And Swain's Suns. That's how
Swain's Suns.
Yeah, he's a big Suns.
That's how we'll do it.
See, this is the magic of the in-season tournament.
It's great.
And
Households divided.
He's a big Suns fan too.
Is he?
Oh yeah,
I
he's
didn't
been a
know
Suns
that.
fan forever.
Djakovic?
He had Suns shoes when we were kids. It was awesome. He came back from Arizona. He had Suns shoes, like Converse, like Suns logo. This is like late 80s. I was very jealous, but.
For the city of Phoenix, I would love for the Suns to win them a title one day. They just, for us, that city, they don't have a lot of
Not
wins.
at the expense of your...
And no, Lakers need a win first, of course. But if my Lakers aren't going to win, I wouldn't mind seeing the Suns win for that city.
They love the Suns. Phoenix.
Like they had the great years with Barkley, and the Diamondbacks have the one championship.
Yeah.
Cards don't have any, I don't think. Well, not in there because they came from St. Louis or whatever.
from
it was.
The Cardinals, maybe. Or whatever. I don't know.
Diamondbacks
Had the one.
Yeah.
Coyotes have never won, but they're close.
ASU is a fun school, so I'm told.
Yeah. Basketball team, I think maybe is the Arizona, which is south of them.
It's in Tucson. They've
won a national title, but still, for that size of that city, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing the Suns win.
That's what I love, and it's the same as you said, soccer. Yeah. The cup may not mean something for somebody who's winning championships, but it might mean something for a market such as that.
Yeah. EST Hangout, presented by Mott's Clamato, coming to an end here. Up next, it is the Lock Shop. Dusty and a Huss will get you set for a night in action, in all the action, NHL, NBA. Maybe they'll do a little Premier League today. Maybe they'll get
Luton Town and Arsenal, man. This could come on, you headers. Let's go.
But yeah, Lock Shop coming up next with Dusty and Huss. And then at noon, it is two guys and a goalie, Matt Cassian, Joaquin Gage, Dustin Nilsson. We'll once again talk about Oilers practice because we don't have a game to talk about until tomorrow. They return to the ice against the Carolina Hurricanes. Doug, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it as always, and look forward to having you on again.
Look forward to coming back
in the coming weeks and so. Eric, thanks for sliding in back-to-back days and enjoying that extra spicy Mott's Clamato.
You keep bringing me in, I'll keep drinking these. It's a pretty good relationship.
He's Lieutenant Eric. He's Doug McLean. I'm Matt Iwanyk. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout on this Tuesday. Happy birthday to all the birthdays that we threw out there, including Low Tide Trap. The Clayton birthday's here. And all the best to Christine Sinclair on her final game with the Canadian women's national team. Just an unbelievable career. So thank you for all the memories, Christine Sinclair. I know she's watching this before that big match. But thanks for tuning in to the Hangout. Lock Shop coming up next year on Edmonton Sports Talk.